The 89th NFL draft last night at Lambeau was pretty awesome and pretty dope. You doubled the population of Green Bay last night. And I thought it was fantastic. Not so much where the players landed and where they went. I think the storylines were exceptional. But I think the way the whole presentation was, I think it went pretty status quo on what I thought it was going to do. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of quarterbacks taken in this draft, and there weren't. One of the fewest quarterback selections in recent memory. I like the Jackson Dart move by the Giants, believe it or not. I think the Giants, for the first time, actually did something right. Shedeur Sanders did not shock me. I liked the way he handled it after. I did. Adversity now has hit him for the first time in his life. Something that he had to earn, and he didn't earn it, and something that wasn't given to him. Now he has to go and show people what his character's all about. And this will define him, in my opinion. Sills, I thought the Cowboys and Dolphins pick were a reach. We'll get to all those guys. Well, let's get to the Eagles. Trade up. They get to 31. They trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, all supers, please hit the like button. Michael Irvin's going to try to find time for us today. Xander will have his normal hit at 3:30. I'm happy with the pick, Sills. Good afternoon, Blaine. Thank you. The Eagles pick at number 31. I want you to do me a favor today. The Philadelphia Eagles did not sign a linebacker. They signed a football player. This is a football player. You label him a linebacker, I think you're doing him a disservice. He is a football player. Okay? And this is going to go down to how Vic Fangio has used linebackers throughout his history. I'm going to show you what he's done. And I'm going to give you a definition of who I think Jihaad Campbell is. And then, by the way, we'll go back and revisit what the Eagles scouts thought of him and how the Eagles were evaluating him as they selected him last night, number 31. First linebacker since the late 70s with Jerry Robinson. We mentioned that last night on the draft show. I think we'll get Johnson Jr. since teams passed. Best available. There's a ton of good players. I told you, a lot of these guys were going to fall. They fell anyway, even without the linebackers, or excuse me, the quarterbacks going in the first round. They went anyway. Okay? They went anyway. Am I happy with the pick? I am 1,000% thrilled with this pick. I'll tell you why. The league's different. This is not a cookie cutter league any longer, especially when it comes to that position. Okay? You're not defined any longer. You're defined by versatility. By the way, Howie and Nick spoke after they selected Jihaad Campbell last night. I love the fact that he's an IMG. I know the folks personally at IMG. That is a great camp. I'll make this point to you. That IMG camp could beat many Division II colleges in the country. That's how good the talent is at IMG. Okay? The talent that goes to IMG, Tyler Booker, I think, is an IMG guy. He's a Connecticut kid. He went to St. Luke's in New Canaan, and then he ended up going to IMG. And I think that's the kid that the Cowboys drafted. He's an IMG guy. I like all these guys. Get the best coaching you can. It's one of the best programs in the country. Not the best. It's a great place to develop. It's like a prep school for football. Okay? He is a New Haven kid. So I like the fact it's a prep school for football. You know how you go to some prep schools for like being a lawyer, or you're trying to get into Princeton or Penn? That's what IMG is. It's a prep school to set you up. By the way, they don't select anybody. They handpick these kids from across the country. Okay? All right. I love the pick. And I'm going to show you why I love the pick. Do not today call him a linebacker. This is what Vic Fangio has done and who he's worked with. And I'm going to tell you why he drafted him. I love the whole way they approached this draft. I'm listening to Howie. I'm going to make a point to you here. And I know this is going to sound crazy, especially from me, who has criticized that guy. That guy has changed his stripes. You know how you say a zebra can't change their stripes? That guy has changed his stripes. Howie Roseman and how he sees players. He is great at contract negotiation, restructuring. He's becoming a draft expert. So Vic Fangio has worked with Ray Lewis. I love this one. God rest your soul, brother, and I love you. Kevin Green. Pat Swilling. Former Defensive Player of the Year. Ricky Jackson. Hall of Famer. Sam Mills. Hall of Famer. Roquan Smith. Soon-to-be Hall of Famer. Fred Warner. Top 3 inside linebackers in the National Football League. Patrick Willis, Hall of Famer. Vaughn Johnson, down with that great linebacking core that he had in New Orleans. Who is Jihaad Campbell? Kevin Green? Pat Swilling? And maybe Ricky Jackson. All 3 in one player. He has the traits, not the resume, the traits of Kevin Green. By the way, Kyle, tell folks who Kevin Green is and where he sits on the all-time sack list. Just so you know. That's right, Navarro. Kyle, put up Kevin Green's sack numbers. You know what he was considered when he came out of college at Auburn? A tweener. The infamous tweener. Is he a linebacker? Is he an edge? He's the guy that made the tweener. He's the guy that found out what to do with the tweener between the linebacker and the end. Kyle, tell that guy and post that number on what the sacks are. He's 3rd all-time, Kevin Green, in sacks. Did you even know that? In pro football history. Okay? He's 3rd all-time. That's what they see. And Vic. John McMullen said it was a terrible pick. I never heard John say that this morning or last night. I did not hear that. And that's not my takeaway. That was not. Look at this. Here's Kyle. Kevin Green. Some of you are going, Sills, I hope he's better than that. You hope that You think that he's going to get 160 sacks in his legendary career? He's got 160 sacks. He's got more than Lawrence Taylor. That's who I'm comparing him to. 160 sack guy. Okay? I think he's got some Pat Swilling in him. You drafted a football player. You did not draft a linebacker. I absolutely love this pick. You could not have had a better pick at number 31 with anybody in the draft outside of Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter defensively. I happen to believe that. I think he's a better football player than Walter Nolan. Please hit the like button. I think he's a better football player than Walter Nolan. And what else? He goes in with Vic, and Vic in his toolbox is going to look at him and be like Dr. Frankenstein and say, my God, how in the world and where in the world am I going to put him? And I could put him anywhere. I love this pick. Damn, what a great change of mentality by Howie. Let's look at it. I mean, versatility linebacker, imposing size and strength. Played primarily off the ball, but was also used on the edge. Patient with run fits. Diagnoses and shuffles his feet with the best. Can hit open windows when it comes to run fits. Separates off blockers. Flashes quick hands. Sheds on the move. Best scraping and pursuing to the perimeter of anybody in the draft. Flashes fundamental tackling skills. Has improved his ability to wrap up and make plays in space. Plays with hustle. This is what the Eagles thought of him prior to taking him. Gets a lot of tackles. Excellent blitzer. Skills. He can hit the inside gap with force and create havoc in the backfield. Sounds like I'm talking about a monster movie here. He has been effective and can be an effective speed rusher coming around the corner. Here's why they drafted him. This guy's got a longer arm reach than the guy that was taken by the Patriots. And he's a left tackle. Do you understand what I just said? This guy's got a longer arm reach than the fourth pick in the draft. I was shocked, Sills. Never saw a linebacker coming. Neither did Howie, if you listen to his press conference. And we're going to go and listen, and I'm going to break down what I think they said. Swipes to get free. He's been productive making plays in the backfield. He's a TFL machine. As a zone defender, he has shown ability to read routes, combinations, and keeps quarterback's head on a swivel. Gets good depth and drops. Understands lanes and passing lanes. Reacts quickly with the ball and when it's in the air. Campbell is a high cut and tends to play a little high. But again, that's a great player's trait. Okay? When you're killing everybody in college, you can get a little lazy on it, and you do. Take it from me. I was never blocked in college. Seriously, I was never blocked. You put a game film on of mine. I was never blocked. Did I get high sometimes? Absolutely. Did Jerome get high? Absolutely. getting to the NFL, that can't happen. He'll learn that. Talked about changing your philosophy. Absolutely, Blaine. Okay? I never fucking sat the bench in my life in college, kid. Ever. And that's what we're talking here. Here. He also shows tackling where he's the best in the draft. Alabama used him more to blitz and rush the passer on obvious passing downs. His versatility and skill set and size, he's a fit for anybody in the National Football League. This is a great pick, guys. Okay? Still heartbroken about Starks, but what did I tell you too, Kimbo? Baltimore Ravens are going to sign him and draft him. Okay? Sign him and draft him and put him next to Kyle Hamilton. And that's what they did. I love the way Baltimore drafts. How do you feel today? If you're no Kobe Dean, fabulous. He's not going to take Kobe Dean's job. That's not what he's being brought in for. You're looking at a Micah Parsons, but I think he's better. Or I think he has the ability to be better than that guy. You know why? That guy wants to hit people on the run. Parsons wants to hit people on a podcast. Seals Campbell reminds me of Levante David. Great comp. Great comp. Hit the like button, guys. This is how I see him being used. This is how I would use him. I had a great conversation with Clint Hurt. And the first thing Clint, funny, when I talked to him today, you know what he said to me? He goes, "What do you think of him? What do you think of the kid we signed?" I said, "He signed a great football player." He goes, "Sills, this is why you and I have conversations all the time. This is why we talk. Because you see beyond, I didn't see a linebacker signed and drafted. That's not what I saw. I saw a guy in today's NFL that can play in space at any level. This is how I would use him. I would use him like Micah Parsons. Move him around the edge. And here would be, I would have him instead of where Bryce Huff was penciled in. I would have him playing strong side linebacker. I'd have him out on the strong side linebacker. Nolan Smith, Jihaad Campbell, Moro Jomo, Davis, Carter, Smith. Let me take a look at the defense now. Fucking great. Moro Jomo. I'm cool with it right now. You'll probably address that in the second and third round today. 87 million people watched the draft last night. Wild. Not unexpected. Moro Jomo, Davis. This is how I would put, I told Clint this. This is how I would put this defense. And here's where you still have some issues. A Jomo, Davis, and Carter. Yeah, I'm all right with that. I can go to battle with that. Who's your swing guy? Booker? Okay, I need some more depth there. And I'd like to give Moro Jomo a test in camp to see if he can win the job. I don't want to hand it to him. I want him to win it. Make him win it. He wins it, the 7th round pick or whatever he was, won't be Jordan Mailata, but it'll be an awful good pick. Nolan Smith at the weak side linebacker. Why? His size. But also his speed in short spaces at 4'4". Plus, he's not going to be on tight ends. Campbell can handle the tight end, in my opinion. Dean at the right inside linebacker. Zach Bond. And your swing linebacker is Trotter. I'd like to bring someone in and give him a test to see if he can win that job. Jihaad Campbell, strong side linebacker. It's where I would put him. Day one. And you got Huff and the rest of them dudes in rotation. Half that group you signed will be fired by the first week of training camp. Because maybe not, because the kid's got some injury issues, which don't concern me. You know why? The Eagles have shown you that they will sign people with injuries, and that doesn't affect them. Dean, Smith, whomever. They've drafted them. Cornerback, Q. Strong safety, you don't have anybody. Free safety, Reed Blankenship. Right corner, you don't have anybody. Nickel, Cooper. So right now you have two holes in that defense, and they're significant. Safety and corner. That's your priority heading into these next couple days. Is those two positions. Your offense is set. Safety and corner. Because your edge has been filled. Can I tell you what you did? You got 2 first-round picks. You got an inside linebacker and an edge rusher. People are looking at that move that Jacksonville made with Travis Hunter not getting it. Travis Hunter is like getting 2 first-rounders. He was the best receiver in the draft, and he was the best corner in the draft. You, in theory, got 2 first-round draft choices with that 1 pick. Giving up a second one, I don't care, because there'll be nobody in that draft better than him next year. Who are you going to take? Some kid from LSU? Sure. Is he going to be better than Hunter? I guarantee you the kid they pick next year, the Browns, will not be better than anything they pick. So, I mean, I don't mind the Jags, what they did. They, in theory, got 2 ones with 1 pick. You understand what I'm saying? They got the best receiver and the best corner in the draft. How's that not look like 2 ones? Could he be used like Van Kinkel? Vic loves Van Kinkel. I think he's going to be used the same way that you see Micah Parsons used. I think he's got more skill than him. I think he's got more desire and more heart, and I think he's more of a winner. And for the record, I like his attitude better than Micah. I think this guy wants to be great. You know why? Anybody drafted, or I should say, signed by Nick Saban, I want them. You think Nick signs anybody? No way. This is the last guy of Saban's guys that are going to be considered Alabama football players. I want that. I want the winning. I want the culture. I want what Nick, I'll tell you this. Nick may not be the greatest in evaluating quarterbacks, but I'll tell you what he is good at. Defense. His guys don't suck. So I say you have 2 issues. Strong safety and corner. Still to be addressed. I do not believe that you have those players on your roster right now. Sidney Brown, Christian McCollum, those guys may end up just being and fitting the role But there's your weakness right now, in my opinion, is depth, safety, and corner. That's your weakness. It's April 25th. Tonight and tomorrow could address that. So again, these next 48 hours, you may cover this. I think this kid Campbell's a first-day starter, and I'm slugging his ass in as soon as he can play. By the way, he may not be ready for training camp. He may be ready, the same situation that you had with Cooper DeJean. You could not have drafted a better player at 31 than Jihaad Campbell. You know, I got talked out of this fucking pick. And Xander was the guy, but he's right. They don't do that, Sills. You know, remember, I'm like, how do you not look at this guy and go, he's the best player available down there? And everyone's like, they're not taking a linebacker. And I'm like, you know, you're wrong. And by the way, for the record, Xander never hated the kid. Nor did anybody really else, but conventional wisdom would have told you. I don't want Jalen Ramsey. He bashed Vic last year. I think that was more Xavier Howard, but I hear you, Leon. Thank you for the super. Prince, thank you, brother. Sills, I see the picture of the defense. They will sign Simmons for competition and work on the defensive tackle and maybe a corner in the next couple days. You guys should be excited. Man, Justin Simmons, you put back there in the safety spot. Fuck. I'll tell you, man, this guy's putting a broken puzzle back together. It looks good. And you're young. Get this. And you're young. And you're young. Somebody goes like this, Sills is tight end priority? Hell no. Tight end's not a priority. Safety and corner are priorities. Tight end's not an issue on your football team. 17 games. The tight end was a non-factor. Only in the run game. You got Harrison Bryant to do that. Tight end's not an issue. Maybe third. Later, fifth. Safety and corner. I have to fix that. Okay? I have to fix that. You do not have the guys on the roster right now. However, there are a ton of good football players. And right now, you're in the value zone. Every single kid that's in the second round, I'll tell you this. You get a guy in the second round here, what if you get Mike Green and put him on the end for Moro Ajomo? I love the idea of speed and physicality with this defense. More of a 34 look in these linebackers. Xander, I just missed the blue one. If you could put that up for us. By the way, please, all supers, you guys go to the top here. We definitely need a vet leader on defense. Justin Simmons could fill that role if they so go there. I'll tell you this, what a shot in the face that'll be if they sign Justin Simmons to $6 million and they kick Gardner Johnson's ass out of the room. That'll be a kick in the teeth if that ends up going down like that. Okay? That'll be a kick in the teeth. What deeper right now, Sills, going into the second round, safety or corner? I think corner's pretty deep going into the second and third round. Okay, we'll take a look at all that. Here's your defense. Cooper at the nickel. Right corner's open. Reed's at free safety. Your safety's open. And the rest is Q. Jihaad Campbell at strong side linebacker. Bond at left inside linebacker. N'Kobe at right inside linebacker. Nolan Smith at will. Carter at end. Davis at nose. and Moro Jomo at left defensive end. I want, like I said, competition for Moro Jomo. I need some depth. My swing linebacker. You guys are sold on Trotter. I'm not yet. I want to see it. Okay? I want to see him get a lot of reps. I'm not saying he can't. Okay? I'm not. Campbell, I'm going to move around. I'll tell you what, too. I'm going to keep Smith at the will. I don't want him lining up over tight ends. I want him to have a free rush off that corner, and I want that 4.4 speed, testing that outside shoulder of those offensive tackles. Get him up the field, man. Campbell, I can drop. Campbell, I can move inside. I'm going to move him around the same way that the Cowboys moved. Remember something about the Cowboys. The Cowboys only knew that they had something in Micah Parsons when what happened. They had injuries on the edge. They didn't know he was that good. If the Eagles can cover the safety and corner, then every pick after those two moves will be luxury. We're in good shape. If they sign some really good ball players, and they can. I think he's going to move up a lot in the second and third round. I think he's going to go up because there's some good ball players up there. The kid from Ole Miss, the corner, the kid from South Carolina. Dude, I'm getting me a corner. I would not be shocked if they get. Would you guys be shocked if Howie drafted a cornerback for the second straight year in the first two rounds? After what you saw last night, nothing's off the table. The kid from Michigan, I think I'd rather have the kid from Ole Miss than Will Johnson. I think the kid from Ole Miss is better. I think he's better. Didn't Simmons burn us last year, not wanting to come to Philly? I think that had a lot to do with money, and I don't think the Eagles wanted to pay it. Big Marshall, thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. I like that Ole Miss kid. And Will Johnson, see, the Ole Miss kid's kind of where he's supposed to be in a second. Everyone overestimated Will Johnson. Why? Because he played in the shitty Big Ten when it came to passers. What quarterback in the Big Ten, in your opinion, outside of Will Howard, is worthy of anybody? The kid from Penn State. The kid from Penn State's the best quarterback in the Big Ten. Okay? He's the best quarterback in the Big Ten. And he's going to be a first rounder next year. Okay? I think this came more of a Brian Dable saw characteristics and physicality similarities with Jackson Dart and Josh Allen. Remember something. He accompanied and accounted for 25% of Ole Miss's running attack, and he still threw for 4,000 yards. Who does that remind him of? Shedeur Sanders is not going to run for 700 yards and throw for 4,100 yards. Jackson Dart's a better player. And he did it against better competition. Anybody who doesn't think that is just wanting to promote something that 32 teams knew. 32 teams knew that there wasn't one thing that Shedeur Sanders showed that made them want to take him. Now, all 32 didn't need quarterbacks, obviously, but I would love a bruiser back like Blunt. Anyone fit that mold in this draft? We'll take a look at that, Akbar, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, member, for 5 months. We appreciate it. Okay? That was why Jackson Dart was taken, because Brian Dable coached that at Buffalo. He coached a Dart athlete at quarterback in Buffalo. when he was the OC. Shedeur Sanders has none of those traits. You recruit and you coach things that are familiar with you. As soon as I heard the Giants were moving in, I never in a million years thought it was Shedeur Sanders. I've told you guys this from day one. Sanders has shown no exceptional talent. He's good. I'm not saying he won't be okay. Sam Darnold, you know who he is to me? He's Geno Smith. Is Geno Smith okay? He just got a really nice deal, signed a nice contract up in Seattle. You know, the problem that you had with the ESPN guys last night, I flipped over, they were comparing him to fucking Tom Brady and Eli and Peyton Manning. And I'm like, where are you going with that? That guy's Geno Smith. Got to give it to the Giants. They had a nice draft. They did. Any good safeties in second round? I do think you're going to be able to fit the bill here. Mike Allstott's bigger than Skataboo. Allstott's 6 feet, 255. Kid ain't that. Geno can play. He's more Geno Smith. Okay? Hey, when I look at Shedeur Sanders, I see Geno Smith, a second-round draft pick. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think he went to West Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. That sounds right. Second-round guy. Okay? Second-round dude. Geno Smith. I do like the defense. Okay? I love the pick. Do I like the pick as much as I did last year with Jalen Carter? I do. I think you're looking at a potential rookie of the year. That's how good. Rich get richer. You know what's crazy? The lower in the draft you go, the better players end up going to the right places because it's best player available. I'm going to make a prediction to you. Jihaad Campbell will be the defensive rookie of the year. Change of heart? Of what? Jalen Carter and Jihaad Campbell? What's a change of heart? I don't think he's just one of the best 10 players in the draft. I think he's one of the top 5 players in the draft. And if you're going to go top defensive players, he's better than Walter. If you told me, just in skill set alone, Sills, who would you rather have? Jihaad Campbell or Walter Nolan? I'll take Campbell. Who would you rather have? Abdul Carter or Campbell? Abdul Carter. Who would you rather have? Hunter or Campbell? I'd rather have Hunter. Who would you rather have? The kid from A&M or Campbell? Campbell. Okay? Who are we getting tonight? I think we can make a confirmation of that next. So let's go to what they said in the presser last night. It's about 12 minutes, and it said a lot. And I'll tell you something. That's about as transparent as I've seen Howie Roseman at any time behind a microphone. That was so honest last night. That was so good last night. Here. So let's get to it. I think John McMullen had the first question. Hit the like button, guys. Howie and Nick. Wasn't expected. Fucking great. Pick wasn't expected. As honest as you can get. They probably sat there until when they saw Starks and Nolan go, they went, shit. No, they probably didn't. They had a plan. And then Howie fell in love with a guy at around 22 where the Chargers are. Let's go get this guy. Vic, what do you think? Get him. Okay. They started falling in love with Jihaad Campbell at 22. They liked the player prior to the draft, but they were watching the board fall. They were watching the players. They were seeing no quarterbacks taken. They were seeing other players that, get this, they're doing a dual track. I'll get that guy in the second round. That Will Johnson kid or the Amos kid from Ole Miss is falling. The kid from South Carolina is falling. One of those kids will grab in the second, will move up. What about who we like here? Who's the best defensive guy left on the board? The kid from Alabama. Let's go get his ass. We can fill 2 holes with 1 stone, edge and inside. Let's go get him. They started falling in love with him around the Charger pick. So thoughts on the Eagles. I think all of this is open. After what you saw last night, any name you post is possible. Seals, Campbell compares nicely to Will Anderson. I think Will Anderson will have a better career than Michael Parsons. I think Will Anderson, if you watch that Kansas City Houston Texans playoff game, he was a freaking force in that ball game. That guy was a force. That's how good that kid is in Houston. That kid can play, man. I have been a fan of Will Anderson for 3 years. Okay? 3 years I've been a fan of that guy. And Campbell, he reminds me a little bit of Kevin Green. Can drop, can rush, and can hit, which means he can eat. I love that. Can drop, can hit. I mean, can rush, and he won't bitch. And he wants to be an Eagle. I love that. Wasn't expected. That's about as honest as you'll ever get a D. That's about as honest that you'll ever get in a direction that a general manager will tell you, I didn't really know this until it started falling. And he means he didn't really start liking this player to draft him until 22. By the way, was he brought in on a visit? I don't believe he came in on a visit, right? This is like one of the first kids they drafted in the first round. And they didn't bring him in. So you knew that wasn't really on the first day radar. As they started getting into the 20s, kind of circling around a guy. No visit? Top 10 player. Oh, shit, I said it. I think he's a top 5 defensive player. Here's the guys in the draft. Defensively. Hunter. Carter. Shit. How come when I tune on Campbell's tape and I turn on Stewart's tape, I don't see anything out of Stewart, and I turn on the tape of Campbell, he's fucking all over the field? I can't dismiss that. I'm a production guy, man. I'm not a theory guy. And at the highest level. Hey, let me tell you this. You play at IMG, and then you go to another IMG, and now you're at another IMG. This guy's lived his entire career at IMG. High school, college at Bama, and now another IMG camp called the Philadelphia Eagles. Mason Graham, I'll put third. Shit, I'll put Campbell fourth. Then the rest of them. I think all those pass rushers look the same to me. And that's why they're all in the second round right now. And a ton of them have fallen. Because when you see them, you're like this. There's holes everywhere. There's not very many holes in this guy's game. And when you do have a hole, it's because he's – why do you think Jihaad Campbell has – if there is a hole in his game, why do you think that is? Because you're fucking asking him to do 1,000 things. You think he's going to be great and elite at everything? Okay, so they want to rush him. They want to drop him. They want him to play inside. They want him to play off the ball. They want him to go out and move him around all over the line. I mean, eventually you got to go like this. Well, he doesn't do this all that hot, and he does this great, and he's great here, and he's pretty good over here. I mean, okay, this guy does everything. So if he doesn't have a quick step on the short side of the field or on the weak side, well, shit, you've asked him to do everything else. He does 9 of 10 things great. One thing he doesn't do well. That's not a shocker. Runs to the ball well, pursues and scrapes, has effort, hits the hole, drops well, does a nice job in coverage. Okay. Sounds like Zach Bond. How does that not sound like Zach Bond? Scrapes well, fits well, drops, rushes the passer, is elite and sideline to sideline. Fuck, I saw a guy in the All-Pro team last year named Zach Bond. I think he's got more pure athleticism than Zach Bond. That kid has more ability than Zach Bond. Let's continue here, what they said last night. Hit the like button, guys. Here's another thing. Jesus, criminy. Versatility he plays with. It's got Vic Fangio's thumbprint all over it. Versatility. The key to a Vic Fangio defense. These guys I named to you. These guys I named. These guys that I named. Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis's last game of his professional career was the MVP in the Super Bowl. Ray filled. Ray dropped. Ray rushed. Versatility. Kevin Green. He rushed the passer. He played the run. He dropped in coverage. Versatility. These are all people Vic Fangio's coached. Pat Swilling, the most underrated player he's ever coached. Defensive Player of the Year. Led the NFL in sacks. Take a look at his resume. You hope he's Pat Swilling. You guys never really, some of you are too young to know who Pat is. I know Pat. Pat Swilling, if Jihaad Campbell turns out to be Pat Swilling, you would have had a Grand Slam pick. He was the Defensive Player of the Year. Leader in sacks. Over 100 in his career. Pat's a spectacular football player. Ricky Jackson. This is kind of what this kid looks like to me. Okay? Ricky was great against the run. Ricky was great in rushing the passer. Ricky was good in dropping. That wasn't kind of his. Can I tell you who Ricky Jackson is? He's a better version He's a better version of Hugh Douglas. Okay? He's a better version of Hugh. Pacific. All right. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get Michael Irvin. You can click the link anytime. Sorry for producing on the link at any time. So we're trying to get Michael Irvin on for you. We'll get his takeaway with the draft and see what he's going to do here. Let's move on until we get some notification on Michael Irvin. We're hoping to get him here and get Playmaker on here in a second. Wasn't a need pick. Howie was so transparent. He was so transparent. It was not a need pick. I agree with him 1,000% in this. Anytime you start falling in that line of need, okay? Anytime you do that, your draft is going to shit. Okay? It is going to shit. He drafted a guy. He looked at him and said, that's the football player I want. Howie Roseman is getting better at identifying personnel. He's doing it in front of your eyes. Okay? I mean, he's getting better at it. You're watching him because you know why? He's dropping these old school guardrails. Can't draft a linebacker. Not doing that. Okay? Can't pay a linebacker. Okay? Get this. Listen to what he just did. So you don't pay a linebacker, he did. You don't draft a linebacker, he did. Well, I get that's out the window. Any odds in the draft? Warren under Loveland? Everything's about personnel fit. Okay? This is all about personnel fit. Let me just send Michael one more text here. Let's see, we sent the link to your phone. Anytime you've got a second, can just click. There you go, right there. All right. So hopefully Mike will do that for us here. Continue. Wasn't a need pick. I love that. How about this? What you do too is what you love what he said here. A lot of versatility. And we took what Vic can do with him into consideration. They thought of Vic with this pick. What do you think Vic Fangio can do with this player? That is a lot of respect. Dan Sileo, a bum who didn't give Jalen credit before and after the Super Bowl. Hey, Christian, thanks for the super. Let's go on to somebody who makes sense and somebody I give a shit about their take right now. Jihaad only missed 7% of the tackles. Draft green. Sills got a top 15 pick at 31. Great pick. What do you think of the comparisons to Micah? I think he's got more skill set. And in my opinion, I like the player more than Micah Parsons. Then again, I don't think Parsons is who he thinks he is. He doesn't want to play the run, and he doesn't have any impact on his defense. They've never been in the top 10. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm not like John McMullen or any of these other guys who think he's a really great player. Great players make impact on teams. Myles Garrett makes an impact on his unit. His unit was number 1 2 years ago. Mike has never done that. I just don't see it. I think he's the most overrated defensive football player in the NFL. I am not That guy to me is not a $40 million guy. And I would have no problem trading him for multiple picks because the Dallas Cowboys have multiple holes. I would keep him if I was the Eagles. You know why? The Eagles don't have very many holes. Michael Parsons to me is overrated. He bitches, he whines, he cries, and he's not a football player. He's a celebrity. This guy's a celebrity. Okay, that's what you want to do. You're on the perfect team. Michael Parsons is exactly what is wrong with the Cowboys. He's a celebrity. Jihaad Campbell's a football player. The Eagles draft football players. The Cowboys draft media stars. That's how I see them. How he broke 3 narratives. Doesn't pay a running back. This is a great take right here. He doesn't draft linebackers and he won't pay them. Absolutely. That's why the next pick's a corner. You know what I'm going to start doing? Everything that Xander said, because Xander's not wrong. Xander's just going with his traits of what Howie did. I think the next pick's a corner. Corner or safety. It's not edge. It's corner or safety. I think Xander's no, I don't believe that. No. I think he is, but I think he's an objective homer. I think you've got guys in that market that are not objective. Dude, when you are working in Philly like that, I'm going to tell you, no matter what it is, right and wrong, I'm not a homer for anybody. I don't root for anybody. I don't root for teams. I root for players. Okay? I don't root. So with me, that's why some of you are attracted to the show. You know why? I'm not going to sit here and fucking have glazed donuts over what. But when a guy does something right, that was the best pick by Howie Roseman that he could have had with anybody outside of Nolan, Walter Nolan, and Malachi Starks. I hope it's corner or safety. We need both. There's more of a priority with those two than over tight end. Tight end is not a priority. And to some extent, neither is edge. If they go edge, I can see it. But why would you do that after you just drafted Jihaad Campbell? You're going to play him mostly at edge. Let's continue. They liked their group. And by the way, they made it very clear last night. This has nothing to do with Nakobe Dean. This has got everything to do with how we're going to use this kid. They're looking at Jihaad Campbell completely different than anybody else on that team except for Zach Bond. You know what got Jihaad Campbell drafted? Zach Bond and his ability. They see a younger Zach Bond. There's one thing that this organization does. They draft players with similarity characters. And that's how they look at guys. Big programs, ton of winning. What does he remind you of? Tell me if you don't see a younger Zach Bond here. 2 years, Zach Bond's gone. There's your Zach Bond. But he may be in multiple roles. Let me tell you what invented Jihaad Campbell for the Eagles. Micah Parsons invented him. And that's how Abdul Carter went, what was it, third? Versatility. The game's in space. You're playing the game in space now. Okay? The game is played in space. Sills, if Philly wanted to pay you hefty to be another big Dom, you're taking it. Who in the hell wouldn't want to work in Eagle organization? Fabulous place to work. Winning, paid her people. You can keep a job in that place for 1,000 years. You're looking for security, bro. You're not looking to table hop. You want to be in a building for as long as you can. He's 21 years old. He just turned 21. Wait a minute. So this kid was at IMG. He was at Alabama. And he accomplished all of this shit. Let me see something here. He accomplished all this shit when he was 18, 19, and 20. Let me take a look at this. 18, 19, and 20. This guy accomplished all this. First team All SEC. Second team Football Writers. I think I voted him there to be a first team. This guy was 20 years old. Man, what an athlete. You're 20 years old, and you're at IMG, and you're at Bama, and you're a Nick Saban draft or a scholarship guy. And now you're a first rounder. That's as accomplished as you can get, man. And he's 21 years old. He just turned 21 a month ago. That's insane. Yeah, that's insane, okay? That's insane. Take it from somebody like me who knows what accomplishments like that mean. You're 21, you're 20 years old and you're doing all that. That's freaking off the charts. That's off the charts crazy. Oh, man. Sorry. I just, it's laughable on how talented he is. Okay? Pat Swilling? Good. Guys should take some YouTube videos, play them. Pat Swilling was stupid great. Pat Swilling was probably the third best pass rusher in the era of Lawrence Taylor. Okay? Let me say this. He's a cross between Derek Thomas and LT. So I'm not comparing him to dog shit here. Kevin Green, Pat Swilling. Those are exceptional football players. You can't put this kid Campbell in a box. Howie made it very clear last night. I don't want you guys to put this player in a box. Hey, when you guys are looking, you're not looking at Jihaad Campbell like the Eagles are when you say, if you're Nakobe Dean, are you okay with this? Nakobe Dean has nothing to do with this. He has nothing to do with this. I mean, seriously, this has got more to do with replacing Josh Sweat than it does with Nakobe Dean. Do you follow? What do you expect in the second round? We'll get to that here in a minute. Sills, would you like to see the Birds get Xavier? I want to see the Birds get a corner or a safety. I wrote down my 10 best players available. I want to read them to you here. By the way, please hit the like button. Xander's going to join us at 3:30. Here's my 10 best players that are on the board as of right now. Okay? Here are my 10 best. I tweeted this out on X. Mike Green, edge, Marshall. Nick Emanor, that kid from South Carolina, safety, number 2. I've got Trey Amos, cornerback, Ole Miss, 3. The edge rusher from Boston College, I don't want to hack any names up here, 4. Luther Burden, wide receiver, 5. I've got Mason Taylor, tight end, 6. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, 7. If you look where I have Shedeur, that's in the middle or to the bottom of the second round. People are trying to get this kid drafted in the top. He may go because there's a need at quarterback for some teams. Like Cleveland may take him at 33. It kind of makes sense. Cleveland's staying. I'm sure Cleveland's received a ton of offers for that 33rd pick because of the amount of volume of good players that are in the second and third round now that have fallen out that many people had projected to go higher. Remember what I told you yesterday? I see a bunch of really good-looking second-round guys that were wedged into the first round. That's what played out last night. Jackson Dart's a second- or third-round quarterback. That's not awful. Jalen Hurts was a second-round quarterback. Shit, Kirk Cousins was a fourth-round quarterback. Tom Brady was a sixth-round quarterback. Hey, and for the record, Shedeur Sanders, his story's not over. Everyone's got this gloom and doom. So what, you went in the second or third round? What's the problem? The problem is you wanted everything fucking handed to you. Well, welcome to the NFL. Joe Klatt was the biggest asshole last night covering the NFL that I've ever seen. This guy came up with every excuse on the planet, and because some asshole with an innocuous post posted out there something egregious about Shedeur, hey, dude, welcome to the land of the NFL where someone talks shit on your ability. You've been hiding there at Fox, and you've been glazing over all your guys at Colorado. I know you're alum, but I mean, welcome to the world. Somebody talking shit on your ability? That's a guy who's also entitled. Joe Klatt was an asshole last night. Well, hey, this is the process of the NFL that I hate. Somebody throwing a random bullshit comment, and I'm like, welcome to the world where somebody talks shit on you. Holy shit. Hey, dude, I know that you've been a pampered guy your whole life, but act like you're a hardworking dude. Joe Klatt doesn't connect with anybody in the world for one reason. He ain't one of you. Well, I can't believe this is the worst process and part of the process of drafting somebody. You know, somebody threw out a random thing about Shedeur Sanders. That had nothing to do with why he fell in the draft. Nobody gives a shit about that. You know why he didn't go in the first round? He didn't go in the first round because he showed no skill set that made anybody think he was a first-round quality guy. You know why Brian Dable drafted Jackson Dart? Because it reminded him of a skill set of Josh Allen. Nobody looked at Shedeur and went, that guy reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. You know what they did? It reminded them of Geno Smith and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was a seventh rounder. That's why he went past the first round. But you got guys up there. I'm surprised it wasn't more racial. That he didn't go in the first round because he was black. I'm surprised ESPN and Disney and Bob Iger didn't go nuts on that and turn it into the ultimate. I mean, between that shitty movie Snow White and Shedeur Sanders, ESPN has had flop movies. I mean, come on now. He didn't fall because people were talking shit on him. He fell because he showed no skill set of a first-round prospect. They did everything in their power last night. How about the fact they glazed over a great story with Cam Ward? Cam didn't get one scholarship offer out of high school. He had to go to some crazy school I never heard of. Then he goes to Washington State. Then he goes to the University of Miami. That was a great story. The Travis Hunter story was great. Dad was in prison, was given permission to come watch his kid get drafted. Instead, we're sitting around glazing over Deion's kid. Hey, man, go fucking earn it. Like everybody else has to in that league. Go earn it. Talking to me about this is where you get in trouble when you talk like me because you're talking about a black kid instead of about an athlete. He's an athlete. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Is Cam Ward the real deal? I don't know. Is he the first pick in the draft? I'm not sure. Quarterbacks are athletes now. Have to be versatile. A lot to do with Jalen Hurts. Dude, the story was Travis Hunter. It's a great story. This guy's like a Division 1 AA kid. How about this? You want to hear something crazy great? You want to hear something crazy great? The first two picks in the draft were D1 prospects. They started their careers. What is that? FCS, which is Division 1 AA. That's got to be the first time in draft history that that's happened. Jackson State and Cam started also at an FCS school. Those are great stories. Hard work, persevering, never letting go of the rope. Would you draft Burden as insurance? No, I would not. That's not a need. No, I would not, but thank you very much for the super. What I didn't also like about ESPN's coverage, when Mike Tomlin didn't take Shedeur, it almost felt like he betrayed, how can I say this politically? Well, Leon, help me out. You see Ryan Clark and Channing Crowder and all them guys when the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, drafted another guy and didn't draft Shedeur. It was almost like they let them down. Ryan Clark, because he thought for sure the brother would take care of him. Mike Tomlin's a football coach. That's why I love him. He's a football coach. That's why Tomlin's the best. And I want to play for that guy. That guy ain't looking at any of that shit. He's accountable to 53 men in his roster and in his locker room. He's looking for football players. And he knows he can get his quarterback in the second, third round. Or it's Aaron Rodgers. If they can pull the race card because everyone knew Shedeur wasn't a first rounder, wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted in the third. He's a third-round prospect, man. If Howie lands Nick Emanora, book another Super Bowl. That'll be a great selection. I think the kid from Ole Miss, I'd like him better. Okay? Right? Mason Rudolph's the quarterback. Prince, you don't really believe that. Rodgers is watching. You know, after they took that defensive tackle kid in Pittsburgh, you don't think they got on the horn with Aaron Rodgers' people? Said to him, hey, we need you here. We're building something special. Aaron Rodgers or Shedeur Sanders? I don't think Rodgers. Rodgers 41. I know. That's right. This guy doesn't care. Man, one of my favorite Mike Tomlin moments, he gets Marquise Pouncey on the sidelines during that whole fiasco with Myles Garrett and the helmet throwing. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is bigger than you. This is bigger. Hey, look me in the face. Get Marquise Pouncey to stop in his tracks and look Mike Tomlin. Look at me in the face. Hey, don't walk away from me. Yes, sir. He may like Milroe more. I'm with you. Okay? More upside with Shedeur than Milroe? Why? You're snowed by Shedeur because of his last name. I don't see anything special in that dude. Keep pimping him along, man. I got Ezra, the OT from Minnesota, at 8. I've got that Schweizinger, that linebacker from UCLA, at 9. And I've got Will Johnson, that corner, at 10. Those are my top 10 guys. There's other good players in that draft in the next 2 days. Okay? Is this right? Actually, they contacted Aaron before the pick. Everyone expected them to draft a quarterback. That's okay. Prince, that makes sense. Hey, we're not taking a quarterback here. Oh. You could thank Aaron Rodgers for Shedeur not going to Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh thought more of him. At 41, Shallow will be drafted before Shedeur. You know, the more I look at him, I'm not that upset with that kid. I think that kid's not a bad football player. Okay? May call in 15 minutes. Michael Irvin. When was this? A couple minutes ago. Okay? Hit the link. It's on your phone. Hey, by the way, this is not the end of Shedeur. I liked how he handled not going in the first round. I actually liked it. I thought the video he put out was awesome. I really did. I liked it. He'll be defined how he carries himself the rest of the way. I'm not rooting against him. I'm not. This may be the greatest thing ever happened to him. You don't think Derrick Henry and Tom Brady held a grudge for people not drafting them in the first round? Brady, to this day, post his workout when he went to the combines, every year that he's ever been involved with the NFL, Brady posts that and reminds kids every single day when they go in the draft, hey, don't worry about that where you go. Worry when you get there what you're going to do when you get there. That's the most important thing here. That's what Jalen Hurts did. Think about Jalen Hurts' situation. He gets drafted in the second round. He's probably disappointed. Thought he'd probably a first-round guy. And you get drafted to a place where you just gave a guy $38 million a year. Shit, I'll sit here forever. What did he do? Same shit he did at Alabama. He persevered. They benched him. Goes and gets his degree, then moves on to Oklahoma, then moves to a place. They did the same shit to him again. They Tua Tagovailoa him again. In Philadelphia, they Tua Tagovailoa him again. I got drafted to a place they just gave a guy one of the richest contracts in NFL history. Holy shit, I'll never play. Opportunity came, and there it was. And he was ready for it. That, to me, is why he's where he is. He never lost faith. People pray to God all the time. We'll find out if your conviction is true to your souls. Hey, God's just not around when things are going great. God's around all the time. And you need God more in adversity, not when you get drafted on draft night. Either you believe in God or you don't, but you don't use him as a crutch. And you're going to find out. Man, I ask God to help me when adversity hits, not when I'm doing great. I'm thankful, but I don't say, can't pay my bills, can't do this, can't do that. Jesus Christ, man, please God help me. Okay? I look at him and go like this, just give me the strength. I look for strength. He'll need it. They hated on Dion. It's such a low-hanging fruit conversation. Dude, Dion has nothing to do with him. How would you like to be Eli and Peyton Manning at Tennessee and Ole Miss? And the pressures that they had with their MVP father, Archie. You think they thought that those guys were going to be, those guys exceeded their fathers. If their father had gone to a different team, Archie Manning would be in Canton. Archie Manning, in theory, is better than both of them guys. But he played with the Saints. And the Saints had no right even being an NFL team. And he still won the MVP award. Let me say this to you, man. One more time here. I love the pick. You drafted a football player. Okay? A football player. You did not draft a linebacker. You drafted a football player. I loved what Nick and Howie said. Howie Roseman, I'm critical of him. But I'll tell you one thing that they do. They got a process, and they're honing it. They're honing it. Take a look at his defense again. Moro Jomo, early 20s. Davis, early 20s. Carter, early 20s. Smith, early 20s. Bond, free agent. Dean, early 20s. Campbell, early 20s. Q, early 20s. Got a hole at safety. Blankenship, mid. Got a hole at corner. Your nickel, early 20s. It's the youngest. It's going to be the youngest defense in the NFL with the most upside of any defense in the NFL. And look where you're strong. You're going to be potentially strong on the perimeter and also in the middle. You got an all-pro linebacker, and you got a kid who played well. I still have a problem with Dean because of his ability to stay healthy. Huff now gets put back in the role where, get this, you know what they're probably thinking too with Bryce Huff? Bryce Huff is probably put back into a role where he was more comfortable with when he was with the Jets. You may get 7-8 sacks out of him this year, being put back in that role. Come in on third down, pin his ears, let him just rush the passer. Don't ask him to play first and second down. You're defeating the purpose and who he is. You now know what that player is. Everyone's got a DNA. Okay? Every player, every human being has a DNA. Football players are no different. You have a DNA, which means you have minuses and you have pluses on how you are as a human and how you play. Some guys are 3 down. And you know what, too? I'm going to tell you the difference between certain players. I heard Nick Saban say this, and I think that this is absolutely spot on. You have to have the psychological profile to make it. He is so right. How many people go to law school or go to medical school every year? You got to be smart to get in, right? Some people go to Harvard. Like I said, Penn, Princeton, Yale, some of the greatest schools on the planet. Then they go to medical school and they fail out. Why? Because they don't have the psychological makeup to be dedicated in putting the building blocks for success in what you need to do. Not everybody's got the psychological makeup to get through that. Everyone that goes and is in the draft process, you're in the draft process for a reason, because you have skill. But not everybody has a psychological makeup to get through the draft process. And Nick's right. Okay? Nick's right. The kid Travis Hunter, he doesn't party. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do anything except play football. He's 1,000% focused on football. You know what that means? He's limited in his life. This guy probably doesn't even know how to balance a checkbook. Why do you think most athletes that are those elite athletes, look at Adrian Peterson's life right now. He's lost all of his money, just got picked up on a DUI. Why do you think that he doesn't really have so far a good post-NFL life? You know why? His entire life has been focused on one thing. Okay? Xander, I'll tell you what. Why don't you come on the program, and if Mike calls in, we'll just come back with you after Mike, and we'll finish up our conversation. So let's do Xander, and if Mike happens to jump on with us, we'll go out, and then what we'll do is we'll come back with Mike. We're trying to run down and get a time here for Michael Irvin here. Nolan Smith is gaining respect. Travis Kelce said he's hard to block because he has strong hands. You could see when you put on the tape and you can watch it. Hey, Prince, again, I think the problem that you have with him, is that, again, this is going to come down to health. Hey, Xander, can you send Michael Irvin a link to his cell phone right now, please? We will send again. Send again. Mike, Xander, send him a link to his cell phone again. Okay, see if we can get him on. Okay. Sorry about producing guys on the fly, but Mike's working at Fox right now. So let's see if we can get him up here. Just for about 12 minutes, if we can get him. So, and then right after, we'll do Xander. Hey, listen. Once again, the defense, the only holes right now, in my opinion, are safety and corner. Safety and corner. And depth on your defense. So if I were to go into this next 2 days, second and third round, for me, I'm going to go safety, cornerback, whoever's there, then tight end. Then tight end. That's where I'm going. That's a really great evaluation on a UDFA. He's going to earn himself potentially anywhere between $8 to $10 million a year. So, yes, I mean, no question about it. I'm going to give you my takeaway here on the draft here in a second. Trying to run down our friend here. Hopefully we can see if we can get him not getting anything. Hey, Xander, can you call him, please? My producer's going to call you. See if we can get this. Okay, cool. My producer's calling. See if we can get this up here right now. So, yeah, listen. I think the Giants had a good draft. My overall takeaway on the draft was I liked what the Jags did. I know a lot of people don't. I think you got 2 first-round draft choices. I thought that the first round went well, especially for a lot of teams. I thought Cam was the right fit for Tennessee. I think Abdul Carter. By the way, I like the fact that the Giants ended up picking up the 5th-year option on Kayvon Thibodeau, too. Will Campbell, that was the right pick because you got Drake May. Mason Graham, they moved down Cleveland, obviously, from 2 to 5. He was probably the second best defender in the draft. That makes sense. You're already taken care of on the perimeter. So then you went inside and you got Mason Graham. You know, the one thing that I don't like about him, when you turn his tape on, it's not overly productive. He's fast, he's quick, he has a lot of good intangibles. But again, as I told you guys, I am more of a production guy. And Jihaad Campbell is a production guy. I like seeing it on tape. A lot of guys, especially in the draft process, they like to see the vision. I like seeing the production on the tape. You know what I'm saying? Are you around the ball? Like that kid Stewart from A&M. He went ahead of Nick Scouton. For me, I want to see more production. Ashton Genty going to the Raiders. The Raiders may end up getting their quarterback in the 2nd round or 3rd round. I think that's an actual good pick for them. I'm starting to warm up on him. I am. I'm starting to warm up on him. So let me say this to you. I couldn't wait to get Michael Irvin on here because I'll tell you what here. The story with Travis Hunter was spectacular. I love his story. And we got a couple minutes here with Mike and get his overall takeaway on what he thought of the NFL draft 1st round last night. And let's bring him up here right now, our friend. There he is, playmaker. We had it going on last night. Did we not have it going on last night?
Dude, what that feel like, Dan? Dan, what's up, baby? First of all, you know I love you. How you doing, my brother?
I love you too, Michael.
How you doing,
I'll tell you what, I thought of you last night, and I said, damn, looked like old times last night. All that sitting at the top of the draft.
That felt so good. That felt so good. I ain't lie. I said the same thing, D. It's been a long time since we've seen that first pick do that right there. I had to I ended my night last night thanking Cam Ward, woke up this morning thanking Cam Ward for jumping in with us and me seeing that. Yes, that was so beautiful, man. And it's the first thing he did. I said, I'm so glad that he rebirthed that moment with us again. And hopefully, Carson Beck be doing the same thing next year. You know what I'm saying?
Mike, give me your initial takeaway from what happened last night? And let's start with the big story with Shador last night, not going in the first round. Your takeaway on what you saw last night.
That was mind blowing, and it was really baffling, really baffling, because I've gone to enough games, I've seen enough of Shador. When I hear people talk about, I'm like, okay, where's the deficiency here? Is it arm strength? You have never seen him stand on one hash, Dan, and throw an out route on the other hash, and that ball got dirty. So you know he has the arm strength. You haven't seen his deep balls all fall short. He had, and don't tell me, oh, he can't run. There are many quarterbacks that he can run faster than in this league right now. So I'm absolutely blown away. I don't see anything on a football field that will require this. I know the demand it is to find a young, talented quarterback. This was the most accurate quarterback in college. How is this happening? I don't understand it, and it blows my mind.
There were two teams too that you could think of, the Giants and the Steelers.
Right.
Are the Steelers really that sold? Because the word is that as soon as that pick was taken for that defensive lineman, they were on the horn again with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
They're looking at the micro right there in Pittsburgh and not the macro, right, Mike? They're not looking down the line here.
But and when I saw this, it made me look deeper to what's going on here. There's no way they would not give Mike Tomlin his quarterback. They've never given him a quarterback. This was the opportunity, and I thought this is perfect. Pick them 21. That's Dion's number 20. This is perfect. This is perfect. That one right there is where the bottom fell out. 21. I just said, man, I was shocked the Giants didn't do it at 3, but the Giants climbed back in and got a quarterback. I can't be mad or have any side eye when they say we'll take this quarterback over that quarterback because they needed a position of quarterback. I'm shocked that you took that one guy over Shador. You took Dart over Shador. I'm shocked, but that may be their personal preference, and they may think that I'll have to let that go. They still got a quarterback. And if the Giants got out of that round without a quarterback or jumped back in and didn't take a quarterback, then I would have been like, what the hell? Something's going on that we don't know. But that's the feeling I got at 21 when 21 came and gone. And Pittsburgh, yeah, they needed a defensive line, but you needed a quarterback. That was the shocker.
I think the Eagles picked, we're based in Philly here. So let me say this to you. I think the Eagles picked Jihaad Campbell because they see Micah Parsons. They see a guy that they can play at the edge. They can put him in a 9. I think he's going to be outside. And here's a guy like with Micah. You move him all up and down the line of scrimmage. You can move him inside. You can put him off ball, Mike. You can put him. And the game is played so much more in space today. You're looking for versatility today versus when you and I were in, it was more cookie cutter. You're a defensive end.
Right.
You're a defensive tackle. You're this. Today, these guys are more versatile. And what you make of what the Eagles are doing in the offseason here and where they are right now is moving forward?
But the Eagles have done a wonderful job, man. Really have. And I still confess I was the first to call out the possible dynasty that I saw brewing in Philadelphia. And they've done a great job. I'm talking about going to get all of the guys from Georgia, bringing in all of that connectivity, Dan, putting it on a defense. And then, like you're talking about, the game is so versatile right now. You need those versatile players. And they're out there, D. They're out there. We're getting guys like you talk that these guys are 250, 60 pounds running 4.5s. Being able to shift their hips and turn. It's incredible what's happening. So yeah, the Eagles they've done a great job. And the best thing they did was really boost up that locker room with Saquon Barkley. Everybody's talking about how many yards he produced. What you're missing out on is what grace he brings in that locker room when he's teaching an A.J. Brown. You can be a star and a leader, and you don't have to care. When he goes down, and he's got 73 yards in front of him. It's not about me. It's about we. I'm telling you, that's powerful stuff.
I know you got limited time here, Mike. So let me ask you about your boys now. Why did and again help me out here? And again, it's not Jimmy with the value chart. We had Coach Johnson on last week with us here, and we were talking to him about this. Why wouldn't the Cowboys move down in the draft or draft that kid Tyler Warren, put that guy out there at tight end, go down in the draft and get one of these offensive linemen, or maybe even trade back in like the Giants did? I mean, offensive line, they're at that pick. I don't hate the pick, Mike. I just think there were more options for them out there for them to be able to improve some holes that they have on their team. Maybe you see it different.
No, all week I cried, yearned, and yelled about going to get a playmaker. A playmaker. Let me tell you what. Those 3 years prior to last year, the Cowboys went 12-5 each year then. 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. 1 year, I think we put about 30 points a game, and the next year about 27, and 1 year about 28. So it averages out about 28.5. Last year, we dropped down to 20 points a game. I wanted that receiver like Pat McMillan. I wanted a Genty so I could find 7 more points to get back up to that 12-5. I know they have a lot of spots that they need help on, and we're not going to be able to fill them all. So my thought was, let's powerhouse one side of the ball. So, and then find players on the other side to come together and play tight. That didn't happen. Both of those guys were gone. Now, I was with you until when they made the pick, and I'm sitting there like, oh. But then, like you, I know what it takes to do 3 great things on a football field. After I said, oh, we took a line. And I said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We have, this mother want to be a Cowboy. Oh, shit. Wait, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I get it.
He started winning me over then,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you this. Because right before I talked to you, I just got off the phone with him, with Tyler Booker. I talked to him, Dan. Right before I got on the phone with you, I was talking to him. Dog, I swear to you, it reminded me when you and I first got together. I got emotional on the damn phone talking to him. I said, shit, we got something right here. Wait a minute. I like this right here. I ain't lying, D. Man, I swear, I just want somebody to care like I care. I want them to take that in that locker room. I want them to grab dudes and say, man, we playing for the Cowboys, man. We're not losing this game. We're not. And that's what I felt when I just talked to that young man. I said, I'm okay. I like it. And now I still want us to get back in this market for George Pickens.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if we can get back to where we had that Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick days, that power line, that'd be a great step. And we're still working on that one side of the offense, that one side of the ball, to powerhouse it. So yeah, I've grown to love what we've done now.
Hey, Mike, I don't know if you saw what I did on the internet. Somebody, because you were talking about the story that you had with Coach Johnson in the dinner tray. And hey, let me tell you what I did. I said, folks, I'm going to tell you a little story. I was sitting in a tiered thing. Right next to me is George Myra. And I'll tell you what, it was country music and it was rap music. And I'll never forget the greatest one punch in the history of Moses. Hey. And I remember you walking up to me going like this, going, whose side you on? You know I'm on your side, but I'm on the King side here. We got to get this thing back in order here, man. I mean, hey, and I thought about one more other time too, dude. Let me tell you this. I know you. That's why. So hang on here. So check it out. I know you. So Winston Moss walks up to me and goes, come on, you're coming with me. Here's you. You go like this because this is, I think, one of the first times you played Dion in '86 because he was a year behind you and you were
right.
And all of a sudden, Winston comes up to me, you come up to me, and Jerome comes up to me. come on, we're going to prayer service. I go, what? I'm not going to no prayer service. And I said, no, we got a kid by the name of Pablo Lopez that we have to go. And I'm in there going, we're gonna what? He goes, listen, we all grew up with these guys. We all grew up together. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in there praying, folks, for the passing of this really kind soul. I found out later, Pablo Lopez. There we were, Miami Hurricanes and FSU guys. And then we go out there and beat the bejesus out of one another out there.
Right.
And I thought about all the great times and all the things you and me all together, man. And the climb to greatness for you, man. I mean, all that stuff back in the day, that was all phenomenal stuff, brother. Oh, I know that he loved that story too, man. It was just good. Hopefully we could connect back here with him just a little to say goodbye here. But, I mean, yep, she sure did, man. Absolutely. I love Michael Irvin will always be my brother. And I will always defend that guy. I don't care. My wife asks me all the time, and my kid goes like this to me. Sills, there's a little bit of a resume there. And I go, I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, no, what my daughter says? My daughter goes, so you'll take shots at other people, but you won't take shot at your boy playmaker. I go, no, that ain't happening. I got too much shit on that guy. He got too much shit on me. Oh, man, that was absolutely awesome, man. All right. It's all good. So I think Mike's phone died. Click back on. Let me say goodbye. Say good. Let me say goodbye. Keep you 2 seconds. Click back on. Okay. See if we can get him for 1 second. If not, all good. That was awesome. I love that guy, man. I'm sorry. Man, we won. I'm going to tell you this one more time. Me and that guy, we lost one game in 3 years. And we owned college football. That was a fun time, man. Outside of my kid being born, being a Miami Hurricane, best thing on the planet. Great teammate. What a great dude. I hear Michael spent all his money on. It's not true. Mike's well off. Don't believe everything you hear. Hey, listen. He is very, 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 very good friends with Dion. Okay? He is very good friends with Dion. And he is going to be very close to, and Shador is very close to him. He might be his godfather, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? This is the reason why Dallas thinks, Michael thinks everybody wants to be a Cowboy. It's not true. Well, I just think Jerry's lost his way on how he runs his team. That's what I think. Are you on the 30 for 30 sales? I'm on the first one to you. Loyalty? Absolutely 1,000%. I am loyal to Michael Irvin. Absolutely. And by the way, every one of those guys are dear and close friends of mine. Those Hurricane teams were the most fascinating college football teams ever. Correct. Absolutely true. No, he's not going to. Come on, Sills. That wasn't good pick for the Cowboys. No, I'll tell you what. He's an IMG guy. He went to Alabama. They've got to replace Zach Martin. Okay? So I'm not sure we're going to get Mike on. If we are to say bye, that's fine. Xander, if you want to get ready to jump aboard with us, we'll do that. If Mike happens to pop on, we'll pop on for a couple minutes here. And we'll put him back up if he happens to hit it again. So, hey, man, me and him are both not technically sound. Hey. Sills, who's the best Who's the best player that you ever had? I think it's Ed Reed. If I had to pick a guy, it would be Ed Reed. Jerome's in the top 5. But I'm biased. Jerome's in the top 5. But Michael also is in the top 5. Playmaker's a national champion and a 3-time Super Bowl champion. I don't know, and a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure what else to say. I mean, right? First team All-American, first-round draft choice, 3-time Super Bowl champion, national champion. Is there anything else I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say there to that. I will never forget the video clip with Irvin with a neck brace laughing at Dion when Dion got his shit rocked. Come on, man. Dion's mad at me. He blocked me, and he told Sapp, and he told Michael Irvin to tell me he's mad at me because I put something out there that I think Colorado is like a new generational clickbait program. I don't really think there's a lot of substance to it. I mean, will they win in that? No, maybe he will. Okay. I know Dion's mad at me, man. Says you think if your guy isn't going to be there the next round, it's too early to pick him. People look into projections too much. I thought Howie was perfect with what he said. Come on, Sills. The Booker kid was a huge reach. A guard at 12. They needed to replace Tyler Smith, and they needed to replace Zach Martin. Xander, when you're ready, jump aboard here. Okay. Sills defending the Cowgirls. No, not defending them. What I would have done is I would have traded down and I would have got my draft choice later. Okay? I would have got my draft choice later and I would have took Tyler Warren at that pick. That's what I would have done. So I thought that was pretty cool. We bring you live and we bring you Michael Irvin. So Mike, I think Mike's getting ready for a TV show. That's what he was doing. I by the way, I posted that moment when Howie called Jihaad Campbell. So, all right. So let's get to our boy here. That was pretty cool. I love that guy. I won't lie to you. Hey, man, I do. I love that guy. As you can tell, we're very close. Still. Just such a history. I've known that guy since I was 19 years old. We're both in our 60s. I've known that guy over 50 years. I mean, I've known that guy over 40 years of my life. All right. Howie Roseman had another great first-round pick. And you drafted a football player, not a linebacker, a football player. Okay? So let's bring our boy up here now from Birds 365. So I'd like to know if Xander is and how much sleep he is. So let's bring him in. Betsy! Bat signal, Xander. Bat signal.
Oh, you want to bat signal me? Don't you bat signal me after we land Jihaad Campbell. Are you kidding me? I'll bat signal you right back, Sileo. Get out of here with that. The Philadelphia Eagles pick up another playmaker in the draft, baby. By the way, great interview with Michael Irvin, man. I hope people appreciate the Big Sil show. I certainly do. JAKIB certainly does. I hope the great people do, because there's not many places you will go where you will have, especially a mom and pop shop like we are. We're not a big network. We're not ESPN, ABC, NFL Network. And we got Michael Irvin on here the day after the draft. That's pretty good stuff. Well done by you, Big Sil.
Always, man. This is what we do here, man. I mean, absolutely here. So, Xander, I mean, I guess, what is it, 4 hours after the draft for you? I'm going to say 12, 13 hours after the draft. But, hey, man, I mean, I come away again, man. I mean, you could not have had a better pick at 31 than what they did. I mean, and this guy's breaking all the conventional wisdoms of I don't pay linebackers. Well, he did. I don't draft them.
Right.
I did. I don't pay running backs. Shit, anything's possible in the next second and third round, but just again, take away now 12 hours after the fact.
Yeah, man. By the way, I thought your open was one of the best I've heard on the breakdown of the player. And your one line just keeps playing in my head. You didn't draft a linebacker, you drafted a football player. And if you turn the tape on in this guy, I mean, Sills, his horizontal speed sideline to sideline, I haven't seen a linebacker move like that. And then just thinking about what Vic Fangio is going to do with that in this defense is really exciting to think about. And Vic Fangio, I think, makes this pick a lot more fun. Like, if you don't have Vic Fangio, you might wonder, hey, should you have drafted just a natural edge there? Should you have done something differently there? But because you've seen what Vic Fangio has done with Van Ginkel in the past, he wanted this type of player when he came to Philly last year. And now you got a guy who I think has an even bigger upside than a guy like Van Ginkel. He's fast. By the way, I know he played off-ball linebacker, and a lot of people don't think that's what he's going to be here. I agree. But he was a damn good off-ball linebacker. And then the other thing is, he could be a damn good edge rusher. So to get a guy at 31 that has both of those skill sets, and he's damn good at both of them, I mean, that's a home run hit for Howie Roseman, and obviously a big part of rebuilding this defense. You've talked about all season long. You lose a lot of players, man, on the number one overall defense. You got to repopulate, and you need good players. And this was the first big, good player that we got on this defense on the road back to number one overall, Sileo.
Hey, I got to tell you, the words versatility, the words Vic Fangio, the names that I put out there that he has had in the past, all had the versatility. And Xander, you have seen a linebacker like that. Zach Bond plays like that.
Yeah,
sideline to sideline, drops in coverage. He fills the gap. This is a younger version of what they saw with Zach Bond. And, we were asked today, hey, Sills, if you're Nakobe Dean, how do you feel? Excited. I don't think, if you're looking and you're trying to pigeonhole, that was one thing I took away from that interview last night with Howie and with Nick, was that they're not looking to put a tag on him. As of right now, if Eagle fans should have this mentality, he is a man without a position. That's why he was drafted. They're not looking for a position for him. They're looking for him to make impact. I think that's where they are with him. They're going to use him when you have mismatches. They're going to use him in matchups, whether that's over a guard, over a tight end. This is what I said to you too, Xander. Here's to me. Your defense, Moro Jomo, okay? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Nolan Smith is your will. I'm putting him on the weak side.
Yep.
Vaughn and Dean are your interior. And your strong side linebacker, because he's a bigger dude, he's a stronger dude than Smith, I'm putting him at the SLB, the strong side linebacker. There's my front seven. My front seven is Jihaad Campbell. My interior linebackers are Dean and Vaughn. My will on the other side is Nolan Smith, Moro Jomo, Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter. The only holes that I see are at safety and at corner.
Yep.
That, to me, is the priority. And I would also add this, that I would like to see some depth. I want to see Moro Jomo win that job. I'd like to see Trotter win the job as the rotator that Oren Burks had. And I want to see a little bit more depth at the corner position because, again, if I can get Keely Ringo to play in that role and Tristan McCullum to play in a role as a backup with Brown, I think you've got yourself. And again, all these guys are in their low to mid-20s. It's pretty incredible.
Dude, young defense, athletic defense, fast defense, and versatile players on this
And
defense.
rookie deals.
A lot of rookie deals as well. But no, I think you hit the nail on the head too with where your hole still lies. I mean, somebody asked me on Xander Time this morning after Birds 365, if you started the season today, where's the hole? And I went right where you went, corner and safety, right? You got Sidney and Keeley. That's the one spot right now where there's a lot of question marks. And my question with you as you bring up the depth is, where do you go in round 2 and 3 tonight? Because you could look and say, all right, give me the corner and safety to patch up that hole a little bit, or to help patch up that hole, make that competition better. But the other thing I see is, do they want to bring in a young, good defensive tackle as well with that 2nd or 3rd overall pick? Because they signed a bunch of Timu signings at the edge. They got Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uche, and Patrick Johnson. They signed Adoree Jackson to be at the secondary. We didn't really sign a defensive tackle, Sills. We're kind of just replacing Milton Williams right now with Moro Ojomo, and Thomas Booker's moving up. So are they going to try and bring in another defensive tackle? I think they're going to lean cornerback tonight, or cornerback or safety. And if they can't get the safety, I do think that's going to bring Isaiah Simmons into play. So, I put it in the chat. Hear me out on this. I know this probably isn't going to happen, but just kind of playing with what we have available tonight, package up a pick, package 64, take a 3rd next year, take a 5th next year, move as high as you can possibly get, and land Trey Amos tonight, and then sign Isaiah Simmons after the draft. How much better are you feeling about the secondary if you have Trey Amos back there instead of Keely Ringo, or at least in the competition with them? By the way, Trey Amos is a guy who could line up inside, can line up outside. He could be a nickel. He could be an outside. He's 6'1", perfect size for a cornerback. I think you feel a lot better about that secondary, and then you can look later in the draft for a guy like a Ty Robinson or somebody like that to give you some depth at the defensive tackle. So that's kind of how I'm seeing how it might play out here. But obviously a lot to go here, and you are kind of in not a position of power tonight, sitting at the last pick of each round.
Oh, I think they have more of a selection of players in the value area now at the 2nd and 3rd round, where, again, I love this comment like this guy, and I can't believe I'm glazing Howie Roseman. This is ridiculous. Makes me want to vomit on this gator.
Yeah, but you're honest. You're honest. He's the best GM in football right now.
Here's what he said last night. He goes like this. This was not expected. That guy didn't know he was taking Jihaad Campbell until 20. He did not know that because they had probably been set up where Starks or Walter Nolan. Okay, and when those guys were off the board, there was really only one player that fit the identity of Vic Fangio. You know what that was? That was that linebacker. And I got talked out of that guy because, you know what?
And I was a part of talking you out of him.
But you're not wrong, because that's been an MO of how they've operated. They haven't drafted a guy like that since 79.
Yeah, and add in that they just paid Zach Bowen $18 million. I'm like, definitely rule that thing out.
Completely right. But if you looked at, if you guys all remember, I'm talking to Xander going, Xander, this Jihaad Campbell guy is the best guy up there for Vic, man. This guy, you can play him outside, you can play him inside, you can rotate him, his versatility. And you go like this to me, you don't really think Vic's drafting a linebacker at 32? And I go, no, I don't. And I believe that because that's not what they did. And when sure enough it came push to shove, he basically said the same thing. They killed a bird. They killed 2 birds with 1 stone here, because they got an edge rusher and they also got a playmaker. Okay, that's what you got here. The same thing that people are talking shit on Jacksonville when it comes to Hunter. Well, Hunter was the best wide receiver and the best DB in the draft. Right. You basically got 2 1s for what you did. And there won't be a guy next year that Cleveland is going to get. Not one guy that will be as talented as that guy. I don't hate that move, okay? I don't, because now Jacksonville, if you're Trevor Lawrence, hey, son, it's now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's now, kid, because if you don't get this done, I'm moving off of you next.
Exactly. That move, while they did send too much, in my opinion, it could still work out for them. But by the way, back to what Roseman did. the information that I got from McMullen is they had Jihaad Campbell above Starks. Remember when there was a little tidbit that came out of information around 22, 23 where the Eagles were trying to trade up? And a lot of people in the chat when I was live were like, oh, they're going up to get Starks. They weren't going up to get Starks. They were going up to get Jihaad Campbell is where they were going. And you heard the owner on the phone call say to him, we've been trying to get you for the last hour. So that was the guy they wanted. By the way, I do apologize. I said Isaiah Simmons. I meant Justin Simmons at safety. So apologize about that. But Jihaad Campbell was their guy. And he fell, man. And I think how he pounced on another great player that falls right in his lap. But the difference with him versus like a guy like Nolan who fell is I think this guy's a bigger impact year one. I think now I know he's got the injury. I think the shoulder is a little bit concerning. I heard Schefter talk about another concern on the injury front. So we got to see how that all plays out. But this dude, if he's healthy, he's a day one contributor on this defense, in my opinion. So I think you got a slam dunk pick sitting at the back of the first round. And we're sitting pretty right now going in. Wait. You smell that?
Lindbergh.
Anybody smell that?
Lindbergh cheese.
That smells good. I think that's the no-hope defense. He's coming back.
I'll tell you this. I think he makes the same impact on your defense if healthy this year that Cooper DeJean did.
Ooh, that'd be big. That's a big impact right there.
So wait a minute. Let me show you this.
I do think he has that upside.
You may get a guy that's on the second level, make an impact like the first level Carter and the third level guy in Cooper. I still think you got an issue, though, at safety and corner. If you were going to go into the second round tonight, and I agree with you, Trey Amos, in my opinion, is better than Will Johnson. I'm a bigger fan of him because of the competition factor in where he played. Did you see that stat last night? 26 of the 32 guys were from the Big Ten and the SEC last night.
Hey, listen, that Will Johnson kid, I know he's got that knee problem, and that's what's holding him back. But when that kid was healthy, that kid could flat out play. All right. I like that kid, man. But look, the knee is, and here's the thing with the Eagles. If they have their medical is at the point, like if they rule him out, they're not taking him. It doesn't really matter where he falls unless it's like the 5th or the 6th round we're talking. Like he's not going to fall to the Eagles, or I don't think they would take him, honestly. So I think Trey Amos is a guy that, remember, they brought in Trey Amos on a top 30 visit. So he's obviously a guy who's on their radar. You'd have to go up pretty far, though. Like I think Trey's probably going to go in the top 10 picks tonight. I think you're going to see a run on wide receivers, a run on defensive ends tonight, and a run on some of those corners who are still sitting there.
How about this? Here's where I'm going. My first pick in the second round is going to be a corner or safety. And why I'm putting 2 in there is because of how they did business last night. I think the best guy there, they're going to go with. If it's the safety or the corner, they're going to go there in that second round. Get this. So here's what he's going to do. Someone's going to go, so you don't really think he's going to take a corner or safety in the second round, do you? I never thought he'd take a linebacker at 32. All that shit's gone here, man. I mean, he's blown the narratives. I'll tell you what, that also keeps the rest of the league on their heels, because you know why? They're breaking trends. They're breaking trends. And you know what that does? That keeps the rest of the league wondering what the F you're doing. Hey, you know what else too, Xander? Hey, get this. You know what else too? Now you get a chance to put Reddick back in his natural role of being a third down guy also with this move. And you put him in there, you put him back into that role of him being the third down specialist. See what you can get out of him with that. I think that's what that covers too.
I think you're right. And I think you're right. I mean, the good thing is here too, Vic's got a lot of optionality here, like with the way he wants to line up, different packages. That's the other thing you're adding. Like, you think you're going to see more NASCAR where you're lining up with a lot of defensive ends on the field? I mean, you got Campbell, you got Nolan, you got Jalix. I think they could line up with a lot of them. So it's going to be interesting to see. But, we got the godfather of this defense. So we're in a good position from that front. And now you're adding good players again. I'm telling you, man. This room smells good right now, and that's that no-holes defense seeping through.
Tight end. Oh, wait. Here it goes. Look, watch this. Cornerback, safety, edge, DT, tight end, O-line. What do you think? Cornerback, safety, edge, or is your concern more that you want Moro Jomo to truly win that job?
Let me ask you this. Do you think the drafting of Jihaad Campbell will lessen their desire to grab an edge in round 2?
Yes, sir.
I agree. All right, I agree. So that to me, I'm probably going.
Mike Green's there, though?
You know me, I like Mike Green, bro.
Me
I don't know, man. He's
Wait a
falling.
minute. If you got away with either getting that kid Amos or Green with your second pick and you had Jihaad Campbell.
Wait a second. Did you see the video floating around of Mike Green versus that guard or that tackle that the Commanders took at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah.
Who absolutely bulldozed him. James Jones, I hate to break it to you. If we get Mike Green, your tackle will be in hell for years, my friend. But no, look, if Mike Green falls, I think that kind of maybe turns it on its head. But I also think they might have ruled him out. So he's probably not even possible for the Eagles if they crossed him off the list because of the some of the allegations and stuff there. But I think I'm going corner, bro. I'm going corner because I'm looking at this defense. I'm looking at what the secondary was able to do last year, and I just don't trust Keely Ringo. I'm sorry. I know fans are high on him. He was a great player in the SEC, played at a high level at Georgia, but I'm trying to repeat as Super Bowl champions here. Like, I'm not trying to see what you are this year. I'm not. All right. I want a good player. I want a guy that Vic Fangio trusts that he can put out there and he can rock with, and that no-holds defense can come back. So I might go corner tonight. It all depends how the board falls, though. Like, if the right safety falls to you there, if Kevin Winston's there at 64 and you don't even have to move up to get him, I think that would be a great pick. I also like that Andrew Makuba kid from Texas, that safety. I like him. Trey Amos, obviously, is a guy that we've talked about here. So there's a couple good options there. You know, the other sleeper is in round 3 tonight, Sileo, is I'd say offensive line. I know they have a ton of dudes. Like you got 4 or your 5 under contract for the next 3+ years at least. And then you have Tyler Steen, Kendall Lamb, Matt Pryor, Trevor Keegan, all these dudes vouching for one spot. So it's you have plenty of depth there, but they'll always take an offensive lineman that they feel has a high upside, no matter where it is and no matter how many guys they have. Like, example, if Anthony Belton is sitting there at 96, I could see them jumping all over that pick or a guy like that. So I wouldn't rule that out tonight. But I think cornerback, I'm probably going defensive front, man. I don't know if I'm double dipping tonight, cornerback, safety, or tackle. I'd be good with the right tackle, because if you don't get a tackle tonight,
Think
versatile,
though. Think versatile. Think DT and N. That's the type of MO they're looking for. They want a guy who can play DT and N. That, to me, Xander, now that I'm watching how they're taking players because of Vic's influence, they don't want a defensive tackle. They don't want an end. They want versatility. That word was explicitly expressed last night by Howie, and the way that he talks with Vic. Did you hear what he said too? I'm learning right now more about defensive players because of what Vic is telling me. Versatility was the optimum word last night. It wasn't about one position. That's why he kept emphasizing, because Vic must be telling him, don't remember what he said last year. Vic said this: I don't like to put expectations on players, and I don't like to put people in boxes, which means he's looking for the Jihaad Campbell type guy. He's looking for the Zach Bond type player. Don't you look at this? Look at what you're doing here. Could Q was being put in the slot during the exhibition season, and you know what? What's his name went like this? Yeah, he could play it. Then you ended up putting Cooper in the slot. He could play that, potentially play corner. Okay, you got 2 guys back there now doing that. Now you got Zach Bond, who could go pass rush, play inside. He can also scrape. Now you just drafted a guy who does the same shit, and you got Jalen Carter, who could play a 5, a 3, and a 1. Bro, you're adding players to your defense that, get this, you have now done the shit that what made Nick or what's his name up in New England, Bill Belichick, great. You now are going to line up every week not knowing what type of defensive scheme you're going to see because these guys could go 43-34, could go, like you said, your NASCAR could go 5 front, can do anything because you know why? They are not pigeonholed in one type of defense. It makes them almost impossible to game plan against.
Yep, it gives Vic more versatility in what he can run, more different schemes, more different, coverages. So, boy, things are looking up in terms of that. But you got to have the secondary guys to do that. So it's like you're going to run a NASCAR package, you better have right secondary guys to do that. And that's where I think secondary becomes a priority tonight in this NFL draft. Look, there's a lot of Eagles fans who are like this guy. I don't have an issue with you saying this, Ringo Island, who's obviously a Keely Ringo fan. His name is Ringo Island. He says Keely's only 22 years old. But, let me ask you, are we supposed to just, sit around and wait for Keely Ringo? Is that your goal? Bro, we're a Super Bowl contender. I'm not here to sit here and wait until Keely Ringo's 25 so he can be a viable player.
Jihaad's 21.
I'm not saying get him out of here. I'm just saying, what are we going to do? Sit here and wait for him?
Jihaad's 21. Jihaad's 21. I mean, I'm telling you, man. I mean, look, I get it too, man. By the way,
a polished football player, dude.
What's that?
He's a polished football player. He has been a dominant football player since he was 15 years old.
Dude, well, look, I as I mentioned, so this guy went to IMG. I know who he is and where he's from the Philly area, but he went to IMG. IMG could beat many FCS schools. That's how much talent they have there. I mean, Shador was a kid down there. That kid Booker, actually from New Haven, Connecticut, who went to Bama, was a IMG guy. And that IMG program, I know a ton of kids with a ton of Miami Hurricanes on that IMG program. Everyone recruits that place. Yeah, that place Deion was down there.
That place is
It's a factory. So get this.
Place is good.
So Jihaad Campbell was an IMG guy. Then he goes to an IMG Alabama. Then he goes to an IMG Eagles. This guy's been around the whole deal with this stuff here. So, I mean, I'm telling you, let me give you my top 10 available guys here for tonight. I got Mike Green, number 1, Marshall. I've got Nick Emenwara, safety, South Carolina 2. I got Trey Amos, cornerback, Ole Miss, 3. How do you say that kid Donovan last name from the edge from
Ezeraku? Yeah, Ezeraku.
I got him 4. I got Luther Burden, Missouri, 5. I've got Mason Taylor, 6, tight end, LSU.
Yep.
I got Shador, 7, Colorado quarterback. I got this kid named Essere, OT, Minnesota.
Yep.
At 8. I got that linebacker kid who looks like Van Kinkel to me a little bit. That Carson Schwessinger, that kid from UCLA.
UCLA, yeah. He's interesting, actually. 6'3", 240. He's interesting.
Yeah. And I got that Will Johnson kid at 10. Those are my 10 best kids available.
Schwessinger was a walk-on, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a walk-on at UCLA. He's an interesting player. I've looked into him a little bit. He's a very interesting player with him. Let me ask you, where do you think Shadur's going tonight? Or is he going tonight?
It's funny, man. I watched that story play out last night, and I'm like, the story's not over if you go in the second. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, stop.
I mean, stop crying for the guy. The guy, I mean, he's going to get drafted. He's not.
Here's the beauty about Shador right now, all right? For him. You're made already. You don't need to go to you're not going to miss out on all that money. Now, I'm not trying to count his pockets or anything, but dude, if I'm him, I want to go to the right organization.
Right.
Because if I go to the right organization, my career is going to be that much better. I like Cam Ward. I'm having a hard time believing Cam Ward's going to be successful in Tennessee. I am. Right? If I'm Shador and I'm like, shit, you can take the first round pick, take the first 4 years of glory, I'll be on my second, third contract because I went to the right team with good players around me and I was able to succeed. The thing I like the most about Shador is that he's pro ready. I think he reads defense as well and stuff like that, but I'm curious to see where he ends up falling.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's the Raiders or the Steelers.
What about the Rams?
Rams too. Yeah, Rams with Sean McVay. That'd be a great fit for him.
Remember, he doesn't have to play year one. Right? You can sit behind Matthew Stafford, obviously a Hall of Fame level quarterback.
Yep.
From a talent perspective, obviously, I think that'd be a great fit as well.
Hey, man, don't be shocked. I mean, could you see maybe San Francisco, depending on what they're going to do with Purdy? I doubt that probably. But, I mean, what you don't want to do is land in you don't want to land in New York with the Jets. That's what you don't want. You want to land anywhere else. I like what they're doing in Chicago a little bit. They're helping that kid Caleb Williams out. I do. I thought the whole thing last night, because people had talked shit or posted shit about him. Hey, man, that's not why he didn't get drafted. He didn't get drafted because nobody saw a first-round intangible. I got why the Giants did that, because it was a resembling of an athleticism that Jackson Dart had, and Jackson Dart looked a little bit to Brian Dable like he had the same skill set as Josh Allen. Let's not forget something. Dart did have 700 yards rushing, and he threw for 4,100 yards. What does that look like? The guy he coached in Buffalo. It wasn't any different. It was, hey, sometimes, Xander, when you're comfortable with something, you look at it and it makes you go, well, that's kind of the guy I like to coach. It's nothing personal, man.
Well, wait a second. Did you just compare Dart to Allen?
Skill set.
He models his game after Jalen Hurts.
Who, the guy that was not going to the White House? Oh, that guy. All right.
What was that? By the way, what was that response by Jalen Hurts? I mean, just answer the fucking question, dude. What was that? That was the weirdest encounter I've ever seen.
All kidding aside, you know what I thought it was? I thought he probably thought the moment was a little inappropriate to ask him a question like that. He's going in to have a good time. He's going in, all of a sudden his chick's asking him about a Trump thing. And they're going, I'm going in here.
I'm just saying.
I'm going in here to eat popcorn and drink some beers, and you're giving me shit about going to the White House, and you're trying to turn it into a Trump thing. And I that's kind of how I took that. You know what I mean? I think he really was put off. He was definitely put off by her. I don't think the question put him off. I think that put him off. So how do you think Howie does a lot of maneuvering around in this next couple days?
I would if I were him. I mean, like somebody was saying to me, why did we trade with the Chiefs last night? And I'm like, bro, we sent
Nobody cares about that shit anymore, man.
Like last year, if you thought we were going to lose Quinyon Mitchell, would you have packaged Anais Smith to move up one to make sure you got him? Yes, you would have. All right. So relax on the 5th round pick. We got 4 of them. Great pick last night on that. So I don't know. I think you're shaking and baking. Like I said, I would try and move up to try and get the corner, or the safety, depending on what they like or in this draft. But I would make the move. I mean, if you sit at 64, the thing I don't like about 64 is I think there's like 20 real good prospects, 25 real good prospects left. I think you run a little bit of a risk of, if you wait at 32 and let the board fall to you again. Now, somebody might fall just like happened last night. All right. A top 10 player fell to us last night again. What's new in Philly? But I would like to go up and be a little bit more aggressive and get the guy. And I'm sure Howie will. He's always aggressive. But, do you take 2 picks tonight? You take 3 picks tonight?
Sure.
Like, how much do you think they take tonight?
Rounds 2 and 3 tonight. I think they probably take maybe 3 guys tonight and package up the back end. By the way, we're going to read all your supers. I saw, hey, Philly 500, Xander.
Yeah, look at our boy.
I should throw him on to get his take from after, don't you think?
Yeah, if he wants to do it. He's probably.
Hey, Philly, if you got time for a couple minutes after Xander and I read our supers and shit.
I got to go, too, because I want to post up your Michael Irvin interview, dude. That was epic, so I got to produce it. But that's fine. We got some stuff. We got some time.
Xander's the one man. He's hitting this, and
it's constantly.
He's doing all that shit.
But that was a good interview. I mean, like I said at the start of the segment, not many people will get Michael Irvin on the day after the NFL draft, all right?
I know. And also, Philly 500, if he wants to come on with us, Philly would send you a link if you want it. If you have a couple minutes, we'd love to do it. Never thought
you're bulldogging the guy. You're putting him on the spot.
You're damn right I am. That's how I work.
There it is, baby.
Hey, never thought Jihaad would be there at 31. Nor did I. I never thought he would be down there too. Genius move tonight. Safety or corner. I think it is safety or corner. So I agree with you, Philly. I appreciate that, brother. You're awesome, man. So yeah, if you could come on. Send him a link.
Me and Billy are on the same page, though. What did I say at the start of the segment? Trade up for a corner. There you go. Yeah. Philly 500 thinking the same thing.
Absolutely. Let's get to the rest of the super chats. Guys, by the way, thank you very much. Please hit the like button. You guys have been killing it. You killed it last night. Xander had thousands of people on last night.
Yo, 500. Thank you for the super, bro. I appreciate that, man. That's really cool of you to do and support the channel. Thank you, bro.
Absolutely.
Matt Dio checking in. What's up, Dio? He says, would the big one of the 4 power end defensive tackle tweeners entice you to go get one? If Nick Emanwari's safety is first round grade, he could be the target. Matt Dio, the problem with Emanwari is I think he's going top 5 picks tonight. Top 10.
Yeah. If anything,
I didn't like him in the first round. I'd love him in the second round. I think it's way better value for that player, but I just think he's going to go super early tonight.
I agree with you. I think that, you know what, he may probably go ahead of Shedeur. You know, don't be shocked if Shedeur goes 33 tonight. Okay, let me see. Can you come on? Let's get to another one.
All right, here we go. Nate Carpenter, what's up, Nate? Xavier Watts is a ball hawk from Notre Dame, 13 picks the last 2 years. Perfect replacement for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Love the show guy. Yeah, Xavier Watts, Notre Dame, right. I like that player, man.
I like that kid too.
Yeah,
I like that kid too. I do.
He's one of the top.
I like that kid.
Where is he? Let me look where he's rated out tonight. Coming into the, he's probably behind Emanwari and Winston. He's probably the third safety.
He could probably go bottom of the second, top of the third.
Yeah, I agree.
You might get him in the third round.
Where do you think Winston's going to go? Because he's got that injury, right? That Penn State kid. I think he would be higher if he didn't have that. Yeah.
Yes, he would. I think the Penn State kid goes in the third round.
Yeah, Xavier Watts is a good player, though, Nate. I like it. Good stuff, brother. Appreciate you. Bob Brown checking in with 10. Bob, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob.
That's cool. Sills, Mike Green at edge make our secondary much better. No QB, but we'll be able to set their feet and throw with Green and Carter coming from the blind side. Woo. Woo. Woo.
I mean, man, you got Green.
Can you imagine Campbell, Green, Carter, Ajomo, Smith? Oh, with Bond. Oh,
don't forget Hunt.
Yeah, Jalen Hunt's going to be a player too. Dude, this no-holes defense is so back, and you know it. I can see it on your face. I can see it through the screen.
Corner.
The no-holes defense is back, baby.
Safety and corner. That's where you're still. And again, I think there's good. Boy, I'll tell you, you put that Trey Amos out there, man. You got Amos out there, and you got Q for the next 4 years at corner in their early 20s. And you got Cooper in the slot and Reed over there. I'm telling you, bro, you got a lot of young dudes at every level. Do you know the only guy that is not? That would be that Zach Bond in 2-3 years. He's out. I mean, you got your replacement there in Jihaad Campbell, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you think I think Justin Simmons is still a guy that they would do. That's why I'm saying like it'd have to be the right move at safety tonight.
If they do that, Xander, what a slap in the face to Gardner-Johnson, because that guy's going to cost you money. He's going to cost you at least $6 million.
Well, Gardner-Johnson's a headache, bro. He is. He might not want to admit that. You're a headache, dude.
Chirping.
You're a headache, and you weren't the engine. You were the caboose, as Sileo would say. All right. You're gone, you're done, and you're dusted. See you, CJ.
Yes.
I mean, everybody wants me to I made a comment the other day, and everyone's like, Xander, I love CJ. I'm like, who gives a shit? He plays for the freaking Texans now. Goodbye. See you. What do you want me to love him forever? Until the end of time? Come on. Kyle Kokorski. Sills and Xander, I want to fix our secondary tonight, flat out. And I think that's where they're going. I think they're going secondary tonight.
Philly's apologizes he's not home, but that's cool. That's cool. We'll get him next week. That's cool.
All right, there you go. Kyle says he wants to fix the secondary tonight.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You look, Keely Ringo, Sidney Brown. Those guys look like promising players, but those guys are not starters right now on your football team, and neither is Tristan McCullum. So Vic likes McCullum. Of all those players, I think Vic likes McCullum the best. They need more depth back there, dude. They just need more depth. And I mean, I would go to safety, and I would definitely go the best corners out there. Who would you take between the USC guy, South Carolina, or the Ole Miss guy? Who would you take?
Which Ole Miss guy? The corner or the safety?
Yes.
Talking Emanwari or Amos?
Yes.
That's tough. Emanwari's here's the thing here's my concern with Emanwari. Is he a year one ready player? I know he's got great athleticism, but when I watched his game tape, I saw a lot of holes in his game. All right. I saw him missing a lot of tackles, wasn't always in the right position, kind of relied on that athleticism a lot. When you get to the NFL, that's a different ballgame. So that would be my fear with him. When I look at Amos, I think he's a plug and play guy. Like, he plays the position, and he played a lot of press corner as well at Ole Miss. So I think in our system, that would be a good fit for him. So I might lean Amos there. I'm not going to lie.
When do you, I'm going to go corner. I'm looking for a corner. And because some of these guys drafted, or some of these guys dropped in the draft, I'll give you 30 minutes. I'll be home. 30 minutes. So next hour. Okay, good. Next hour's fine. Next hour's fine. That's good. Okay, awesome.
Yo, 500. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. 500. Yeah. Great draft stuff. I watched some of 500's draft when I got off the air. I was up to like 4 a.m. last night, up early. I'm running on fumes, but I love it, baby. I'm running on them Jihaad Campbell fumes.
Okay, what did John say about the pick? Jihaad Campbell.
I get a kick out of the way John kind of analyzes stuff like this. He didn't really say how much he liked it or disliked it. He just kind of said they're not going to use him as an off-ball linebacker all the time. He's probably going to be that Andrew Van Ginkel role for the guy. And I tried to pin him down. Said, "Do you like the pick?" He did like the pick. He liked the pick, but I get the sense that because he wasn't out in front of it, he was kind of, a little bit thrown off, where he didn't predict at all. In fact, he said there's no chance. So I don't know. I don't want to speak for John. But.
Oh, wait. But John, I mean, if he just listened to Howie, unexpected. Howie didn't know. So John, how would you know? He didn't even have an idea what he was going to do until 20. We said it. He goes, this was the first thing he said at the top last night was this. This was very unexpected. Well, shit. All right. Dude, that was the most honest I've heard Howie talk, going, hey, I'm learning from Vic. Vic's telling me about versatility and defensive players. And by the way, I had no idea this was so unexpected. And he made it a fact last night that he didn't want you to pin him down by calling him a linebacker. It was almost like he felt insulted. That if you called him a linebacker, and people, first question I got, how many text messages I got?
That's the inner Howie coming out, Sills. He's like, I'm afraid of linebackers.
Hey, how about this? Some people are going, hey, if you're Nakobe Dean, how do you feel about it? I go, I feel great. That means there's more great players in my front seven. They go, no, he's taking his job. I go, dude, they didn't draft that guy to take Nakobe Dean's job. They drafted that guy to be a playmaker. I mean, that's not what they drafted. Dude, they drafted a football player, not not an edge, not a linebacker, okay?
Yeah, I agree. They're going to use them all over the place. Going to be interesting to see. Christopher Michael checks in. What's up, Christopher? I like Dean, but he's finished every year on IR. Got to get safety, cornerback, defensive tackle, and some offensive line. We need depth. Also, how serious is the Ramsey trade talks? Worth it? I'm going to opt out of that, but
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not really that in on that. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm not. I mean, you know what? Now, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. Would you rather have a veteran at corner, or would you rather have a veteran at safety? Because the veteran at corner, Slay, was instrumental the last 3 years, was he not?
Yeah, and remember, you got 2 young corners.
Yep.
With Keely Ringo, you got a lot of young corners.
So would you rather have that experience at the corner, or would you rather have it in the middle of the field at safety?
Who's the conductor?
It's Reed.
Well, who's the second conductor?
I'm saying Reed's the conductor because Vic said it.
Right.
He can't know what was the words? He ties it together.
I think I'd go safety veteran because it's cheaper.
Okay, that's
right. Like Simmons is going to be $8 million. Ramsey's going to be 20.
Asante Samuel Jr. is going to be a $20 million guy. He's waiting till after the draft. That's what these guys are doing.
I told you, I'm not that huge on that guy. He's not my favorite guy.
You know what, though? Let me ask you this. You made a point, and I'm going to take your point, and I'm going to ask you about it. Well, you're not asking him to play man.
No, you're not. But
you're asking him to play in a zone.
What was the worst part of Darius Slay?
Tackling.
Every time somebody ran at him, it looked like he looked like a high school girl at a party, running away. I don't want that. I don't want that.
One of the biggest issues people had with Isaiah Rodgers, they said, this guy's not going to break an egg. Yeah, but you know what? He just signed an $8 million a year deal in Minnesota because that's where the league is now, right?
Yeah, he was a good coverage guy, and maybe you got Cooper and Quignon, but
and he's in his zone.
I'm not going down the Samuel route. And by the way, the Eagles aren't.
I'm not paying $20 million for a zone guy.
Dude, trade up and get me Trey Amos. Get me Trey. You know who else I like? You know who else I really like at corner?
Oh,
the East Carolina kid.
Yeah.
Shavon Revel or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That kid can flat out play, man. And he's under the radar because of where he went to school, but 6'2", 195. I mean, that kid is a freaking he's got everything you would want, I think, to be a great player.
I just got an email.
Uh-oh.
The Philadelphia Eagles have called the Browns, the Texans, and the Titans on potential trade-ups.
Wait, they called who? The Brown. That's the top 3 picks of the draft tonight.
Oh, is it? Okay. Browns.
Yeah. It's Browns, Texans, Titans in order, and then Browns again.
Yeah, and the Eagles.
Did the Browns win the draft last night? I know they didn't take Travis Hunter, but you get a first next year. You get a high second, a 36. Now they got two seconds at the top of the second round this year, and you have 2 picks in a bigger quarterback draft next year. And they get Mason Graham to line up next to Myles Garrett.
I'll answer this right now to you. 2006, Big Sills top 8. Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback LSU. Drew LR, quarterback Penn State.
Yeah.
Isaiah, you hate Penn State, though. OT, Oregon.
He got stiff. Did you watch him in the playoffs?
I did. Carson Beck.
Turned into a pumpkin. He's Sam Darnold.
Carson Beck, Miami.
Another stiff. That sucks for you. I'm sorry Miami's going to have a tough year with that kid.
Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State. Caleb Banks, DT, Florida. That kid's good. And that OT from Miami, who I think is going to be a great pick, that Francis Mugala, that offensive guard, is going to be – those are your – I have early, but Nussmeier's going to go at the top of the draft. Now, that's all depending on what Arch does.
Yeah, give me Arch. Give me Arch. Give me the bloodlines. Give me a guy that's got 3 Hall of Famers in his lineage. I mean, come on. Give me that dude.
Hey, how'd that lineage work last night?
Yeah, well, I think people, listen, I get it, but at the end of the day, it does matter, It does matter a little bit. Kimbo says he's told me Xander on the pick. I don't know who. Who? Me? Sills?
A pick's a great pick. I think he's a better football player than Walter Nolan.
Brian says, come on, Sills. That Booker kid was a huge reach at guard. A guard at 12. Buddy had a 3.93 RAS. Pathetic. Brian, you're in love with the RAS.
I'll tell you what, though, man. The Cowboys could have traded down.
Yeah, I said that immediately. I like the player. Trade down and get him at 25.
Yeah. He's another IMG kid. I know who he is. He's from New Haven, Connecticut. He went down to New Canaan, and he played at St. Luke's. Then he went to IMG, and then he went to Bama. And again, I think he's a good football player. I think he's better than that Guyton kid that they got a year ago. That kid stinks. I think this kid, the only offensive lineman that I thought sucked from Bama was that kid Leatherwood.
Oh, Leatherwood, he was terrible. Evan Neal hasn't been great either. Evan Neal, right. Evan Neal, too. But that Leatherwood was awful. He went to the Raiders. Remember that?
He was Raiders, and he was terrible. And that really shocked me because he was a highly recruited kid. He was a 5-star kid going. I think he's another IMG guy. I was kind of shocked he did not. Now, didn't he have a lot of injuries at Bama?
Who? Leatherwood?
Yeah, didn't he have injuries?
I don't remember. Maybe.
I know Landon had some injuries.
That Dallas offensive line, though, it's like the stinky Tylers is what I'm going to call them. They got Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, a bunch of stinky Tylers. Let's hope they can block somebody. I mean, for crying out loud.
I think tonight's going to be exciting. All right, we got them all, Xander?
One more, I think. Takeem says, He stole that jacket off a mannequin in the store that Joe Pesci bought his attorney outfit in. My cousin Vinny, pay attention.
Leave my boy Michael Irvin alone, man.
Dude, we still, you think these guys know fashion? I thought Michael Irvin looked fly today. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Now, I'm a guy that wears Kango hats, so maybe people think I'm stupid, but I don't give a shit. I thought Mike Irvin looked dope.
I bet you that jacket's probably $5,000.
Yeah, it is. It is fine. Thing's made of like sheepskin or something, dude. Are you kidding me?
And
Thing's made of
that thing's
fur.
probably carved out of like a baby calf.
Yeah,
And it's
dude,
like
that thing's
$10,000 or some shit, man. I mean, holy cow. Great. Hey,
a
James,
goose down that thing.
great stuff last night, man. Hey, so you did the entire draft last night? How was that doing? So you did an epic Big Sill 6-hour deal last night.
I did longer. I did 2 in the morning. I did an hour with you yesterday. It's 3. I did 4.5 on the draft, and then we went 2 hours after. So I did almost 10 hours of content yesterday.
Fantastic, man. Way to go, brother. That's fantastic.
We were
man.
cooking with grease. One more, a couple more. Actually, we got new ones. My bad.
Oh, good. Hey, by the way, are you going to do any follow-up over the weekend for like?
Yeah, we're doing. Well, me and we'll do instant reaction to every pick with Johnny Mac. So John will be doing instant reactions to every pick on Saturday. So that should be a big day as well. And then tonight we'll be live as well. I might, if Sileo is not too coroned out tonight on a Friday.
Yeah. Make sure you. Hey, I hope they
might get
early.
15 out of him again.
Hey, I hope they pick early.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're the last picks of each round. So Fly Eagle says Irvin, Z, Sills, and Philly love this show. It's a good show today, no doubt. No doubt. Brian Pump says Howie would draft a dude named after a suicide bomber because upon contact, he about to blow up on QBs in the near future. Oh gosh.
Hey,
no comment.
Hey,
no
Pump,
comment.
Man. Way to go dark on us, man. Thanks a lot.
I know. He really did. Alfredo checks in. Number 1 defense again. What?
No, safety, and corner. Safety and corner.
If we get Trey Amos and Isaiah Simmons or Justin Simmons, what are you saying?
I don't know. Because I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You can't even Big Sills bullshit your way through this. You're like, this team's
I'm not a very
Super
good
Bowl
bullshitter. No, I'm not. That's something I'm not very good
Wait,
at.
you didn't just tell me you're not a good bullshitter, did you? You're like greatest.
You're
like in the Hall of Fame of bullshitting.
Wait. Let me do this. I'm not a very good liar. A bullshitter, I'm great.
That's different. That's different. Yeah, lying is different than bullshitting. I can't lie either. Actually, my inability to lie gets me in trouble.
Oh, that's right. I'm not very good at it, man. I know
Matt
this. I'm a tremendous bullshitter, though.
Matt Dio says, do you think there's a bigger drop-off in D-line than secondary prospects makes getting one of 4 power end DT tweeners, Landon Jackson, JTT, is planned?
I think the second and third round is going to have a bunch of really good secondary guys. And I think the defensive ends and the edge guys are all I don't think the name matters at edge in the second round, except for Mike Green. I think after Mike Green, I think there's a big drop-off in the whole draft. What?
I think there's a big drop-off Sills in the whole draft.
Yeah.
Round 3. I think there's a huge drop-off, actually. Like day 3, the prospects don't excite me that much, which is why I'd be aggressive with those 5 fifth-rounders and go up.
Yeah, I'm not interested in being a back. I'm not interested in 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
Maybe of top of the – no, I'm not interested in 4, 5,
but think about it. Like, people keep saying, we got to repopulate the roster. Well, dude, we did sign 13 freaking Temu signings for $1 million a pop. Like, that's your 4th to 7th rounders this year. You got a bunch of 24, 25, 26-year-old dudes on 1-year deals for the vet minimum. That's your Temu.
Don't you agree this first pick sets up the rest of your draft for gravy? Like you're icing on the cake now. Like, because you got 2 guys with 1 dude basically, and you got a guy you can move all around your defense. And then in the next guy, you can go like this. Hey, safety corner, then edge, then tight end. You can kind of roll around in there a little bit because, like you said, you've done a lot. It makes the other signings look a lot. I'll tell you this. Jihaad Campbell makes the other signings that you made with like the Joshuas and all these other guys, the Azizes, they make them look better.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Did we get them all?
Did we get them all? Yep, we're all good. Yeah, we got them all. Thanks everybody on all the super chats. So today, I'm running on what I call the Philadelphia diet. All right, you ready? You wake up this morning, I got a nice 24-ounce Dunkin' Donuts coffee. All right, middle of the day, I grabbed the Philly soft pretzel, a couple minis fresh out of the oven. Had a few of those this morning with some spicy mustard on them. And then right before I came on here, all right, I had a fat ass Philly cheesesteak with extra whiz and extra onions from Steve's. I was driving through the Northeast and I said, you know what? Let me pick up a Steve's on the way home to get ready for the draft tonight. So a couple hours of sleep, a Philly pretzel, a Dunkin', and a cheesesteak. Woo!
This guy's all got it all pumped up. Look at it. Look at the sacrifice this dude does for you guys here, man. Look at this. Giants D-line, Eagles D-line. That is a good – hey, man, the Giants got better on defense.
The Giants D-line is good. It's a good D-line. And they know the reason they keep messing up, they know how good our offensive line is.
But it starts with that nose.
Look at this dumbass. What a white girl morning. What do I get? A fucking Starbucks Frappuccino, dumbass? What a dumb take.
What
a dumb take. I had a black coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, and this guy's calling me a white girl. Are you kidding me, Perez?
What is a white girl?
They go to Starbucks and order it's an 84-ounce Starbucks. That's more like a dessert than a coffee.
And an afternoon white wine spritzer.
Exactly. That must be what Martin's up to. Are you kidding me, Martin?
Yeah. All right, Xander. I know you got a lot. Hey, I know you got a lot of work going on, a lot of content here, man. Thank you so much, and keep up the great work, brother.
Thank you, Sills. Appreciate all you guys. See you next time, everybody.
Yeah. That's Big Z, man. Great stuff, man. By the way, we're going to catch up with Philly 500 in the next hour here. He's rushing home so he can give us his 2 cents of what he saw in the NFL draft. We love that Michael Irvin jumped on with us. Guys, don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Unbelievable. Some of the news we're hearing and all the great responses we're getting. People calling into Morgan & Morgan because of what we've been telling you. The reason why that resume at Morgan & Morgan is so good, where they've recovered nearly $30 billion for clients, is because they win. You don't have a track record like that unless you win. You understand that? That's not just words. Dude, when you call Morgan & Morgan, you're afraid because that guy's going to get results for you. They always do. Thousands of attorneys from coast to coast. Making sure that families are protected because John Morgan's family runs the business, and it's a family-run organization. If you're ever in trouble, if you're ever in need, if you're ever injured, call them. forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. That's FORthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
I'll say it again to you. By the way, Philly 500 will join us, and we appreciate him doing this again because he was on with us the other day. We love that Michael Irvin stepped in with us here today as well. Please hit the like button, guys. Give me a total on where we are with the likes, too, by the way. Guys have been great. 26 to 32 players that were taken last night were from the Big Ten and from the Southeastern Conference. This is what you're going to see. Pretty soon, it's going to be only those two conferences. Maybe an ACC team spread in there. You're not really going to see Big 12. I don't think that many. I think all the kids now are going to why? Because the money's in the Big Ten and the money's in the SEC. Finding guys like Quinyon Mitchell are going to become rare. Because if a kid like Quinyon Mitchell wants to get paid, he's not going to stay at Toledo. He's going to go to a Southeastern Conference or Big Ten program. The enticement now and the money that's being spent to get these kids to come to these big programs, I think it's the best thing in the world for some of you guys don't like it. I love it. It's about time kids got paid. I got into sports talk radio back in the day because players should have been paid decades ago. And you set this up. And this is what you're going to get. You're going to get numbers like this now. 26 and 32 first-round picks. All went and came from the SEC and Big Ten. Okay. That's not a shocker. If somebody's recruiting me right now, and I'm at a particular program. Hell, if I'm at Miami and somebody in the SEC comes to me and says, hey, Sills, LSU wants to pay you $1.5 million to come play football at Baton Rouge. Miami's paying me $300,000. What do you think I'm going to do? What would you do? Loyalty can be bought. Loyalty can be bought. Okay? Especially with kids that may not have a chance to get drafted. I don't have a problem with it. Okay? I don't care what AJ said. Keely Ringo's not your corner. Okay? I'm going to take a look at the draft. By the way, Philly's going to join us as soon as he gets home. We appreciate Michael Irvin. Again, make sure you check out that interview. That was awesome of him coming on the program with us, and we so appreciate it. I know Xander's working on that for us right now, so we're going to get that bad puppy up for you guys. But that was pretty dope, and we so appreciate that. Let me go back and give you my overall take on the draft. How many people liked the draft yesterday? 100,000 people in Green Bay. You had about 250,000 folks last night at the draft. Boy, the NFL knows what they're doing, man. I really loved it last night. I thought the whole presentation with the kids, I thought the commissioner was great. I thought the Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff was sensational. I really liked it, man. I think they should do more of that stuff with getting people up there like the Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff. I loved it. Okay, give people their opportunity and their dreams. Hey, how many people, what was the number? How many people watched that last night? Was it 67 million people or 80-some million people watched it? Is that right? Did that number really come out? Let me take a look at my FOS guys, my front office guys. Let me see what they said on how many people watched that thing last night. I mean, It was a monster show last night. I don't think there's an official number out yet on overnight ratings. If anyone saw the overnight rating number, I thought I saw something like 80-some million people watched that thing last night. Think about what the NBA going through the playoffs and the NHL are going through, and you got people sitting at home watching people getting selected and not even playing, and you got 80 million folks watching that thing. People did actually watch it. I enjoyed it, man. Wow, get this. 97, this is almost like Super Bowl numbers. That's crazy. That's crazy. You went, I don't know. I'm asking you, dude. You help me out. I thought it was. I got you, brother. Okay? Football runs America. So let's take a look at the draft. I'll give you my takeaways. Can Cam Ward turn around Tennessee? Let me ask you guys something here about Cam. Obviously, I'm a Miami Hurricane. You guys know this. Does that guy look like Steve McNair to you? I mean, when you see Cam Ward, does that guy look like Steve McNair when you watch him play? Do you think he has Steve McNair in him to carry his football team to a Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I look at him and I go, you know, I don't see Steve McNair. So, you know, I think he's more gifted as a passer to McNair, but we shall see. I think that's a tough sell for him to go in there and try to win that. Okay? Travis Hunter, I think this is a great pick. I love what Jacksonville did. They moved up. They got the best corner and the best wide receiver in the draft. I like the player. I think the player is the best. I think the player is the best player in the draft this year and last year. Xander's not as high as I am on him. I think he's a great. I know his story a little better. Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter is the best edge rusher in the draft. And I think, you know, having talked to Manny Diaz says he thinks that Abdul Carter has a chance to be better than Michael Parsons. That was his D coordinator when he was at Penn State. And I happen to agree with you, Spike. I think he's a little undersized. Parsons is bigger. Okay? Seals, the one source I said was CNN said 57 million. I'll take yours. I'll take that. Almost 60 million people watched the first round of the draft. Insane great. Insane great. Mason Campbell. My only problem with Mason Campbell, another guy that you put the tape on and you go, wow, sheds blocks well. He's able to take double teams. But you look at the numbers and you're like this, where are they? Like, he's not a big production guy either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let me tell you, would you have made this guy? I haven't seen him yet. Mason Graham. Stats. Here's his Wolverine stats. 6'3", 320. And here's his stats. So he had 27 tackles, 36 tackles, and 45 tackles. 3 sacks, 8 sacks, 7 sacks. I think I just got to look at it and go like this. They rotate a lot. Because here was mine. Again, I had 97 tackles, 7 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. 12 tackles for loss. I led the Canes teams with Jerome and Maryland and Cortez and everybody on that team. I led them in tackles for loss. I was third in sacks. I had 50 solo, and I had 97 total. And I look at Mason, my God almighty, if I was in today's drafts, 45 tackles, I don't know. Hey, I see it, man. I know. I've watched him, Abe. I think he is too, man. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. I'll say it one more time to you. I thought Howie last night got the best player he possibly could have in the first round. Because let me say this to you, and we're going to bring 500 up here in a second. And we appreciate him coming on today. Michael Irvin was on earlier, so make sure you guys check out that interview. But after Abdul Carter and Hunter, isn't Jihaad Campbell in the top 10 of any of those other guys who went? I think he's a top 5 defensive player. I think he's a top 5 player. Let's get Philly 500 in. He was streaming also last night. 60 million people watched the NFL draft last night. Half of them were watching Philly 500. Let's bring them up here, Xander.
Yeah, watching this. They thought it was Denzel Washington, but no, it was me. I just look like him, you know.
How you doing, champ?
Watching draft. I'm doing great. How could I not be after what the Eagles did last night? I thought it was a tremendous draft for us. I really did. Surprising too, you know, in a lot of ways.
How about this? I mean, everyone thought that kid would be probably a top 15 pick. I have him here. This is where I'm going to play him. And I love what they said last night in the press conference. Don't label him a linebacker. So here's your defense as of right now. Moro Jomo, Jordan Davis at nose, Jalen Carter at right defensive end. I've got Nolan Smith at the weak side linebacker because of his size. Got Nakobe at the right inside linebacker. I got Zach Bond as the left inside linebacker. I got Jihaad Campbell as your strong side linebacker. I've got Q at the corner. I think you got an open at safety. Free safety is Reed. I think you got an open at corner. You can address this tonight and tomorrow. And you got Cooper DeJean in your nickel. Really, the only areas you have to address would be really safety and right corner, correct?
Yeah, if you want to get immediate help and possibly an immediate starter, I think those are the two positions. I'm hoping that they trade up and do just as you said. But I like how that sounds. I think that sounds about right. It was interesting because I never thought they would draft this guy. First of all, I didn't think he would be there. But secondly, you know, when do the Eagles ever draft linebackers? But then when you listen to how we talk and how they want to use them, you realize, man, it almost makes you feel like it's the way, you know, Micah Parsons came out, right? Nobody knew he was kind of like a pass rusher, but I think they want to use him in that way. I think they could develop him into a pass rusher, which to me is very interesting, you know, and also it does remind me a little bit of Cooper DeJean, because we talked about Cooper DeJean being a weapon, right? And we're talking about how much you pay him. Well, I think the same thing with this kid. You can use him in multiple areas, multiple ways. And man, I never seen Vic Fangio smile so much than when they showed him in that draft room after that pick.
How much of an influence do you think Vic had on this pick?
I think probably a lot. I mean, he probably said something to Howie. I mean, Howie said they had him at top 10 pick. He was a top 10 on their board, and that's all I ever ask is that you be true to your board. Take the best player on your board. And if you were trying to literally go up and get him at 22, 23, whatever, and you got him at 31, I mean, it's a steal. But I think Vic played a big part of it.
How about this, man? Don't you – one of the things that I loved about the transparency last night by Howie Roseman was he said this. He goes, this is a very unexpected pick. Don't you agree that they probably didn't know where they were going until around pick 20 before they got an opportunity, because there were probably other guys like Malachi or Walter Nolan that they were kind of hoping that would get down there in the draft.
Yeah.
But don't you think it took them around 20? That's when he started zeroing in, because the word last night that was thrown around was versatility. And if there's one guy that was on the board last night that reeks of versatility, it's this kid, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think they thought he was going to be there either. There was nothing to me to tell me that he was going to be around. Everything I saw, he was gone like between 14 and 19. So you have to wait till you get far enough where, you can absolutely, trade up for a pick. And then they started trying to move up. And I thought they were trying to move up for Malachi Stark. So I'm not going to lie, because we heard reports before the draft that they liked him a lot. I never thought it would be this kid. And I'm glad it is. I thought it was a steal of the first round.
What do you do tonight? Corner or safety?
So, if I had my choice, I'd go safety. I would trade up immediately early in the second round and try to get myself a safety. But I can live with corner if he could start right away. But to me, you have a giant hole at safety. Like, some people don't like Ringo. I get it. I'm a little higher on Ringo than I am Sidney Brown. So I think with Ringo and then with the kid Adoree Jackson you brought in, I feel like you could wait a little bit, not long, but a little bit. But safety, you got a lot of good safeties still out there that I think could start this year. So I want to trade up for safety.
What do you think is more of a priority tonight, edge or DT?
Defensive tackle. I think with the way they're going to use Campbell, I think defensive tackle is more of a need now, because I think you've got enough edge rushers to get out, for next year at least. I think defensive tackle, and I would take a tackle. I would probably go defensive back second round. Third round, I'd probably go either defensive back again or defensive tackle. But I'm going defensive tackle within the next few picks.
What's a priority also tonight? Tight end or linebacker?
I think tight end. I mean, everything we're hearing, Goddard's not going to be around, and because of the stupidity of the Dallas Cowboys, maybe that's one less trade partner the Eagles have now, because the Colts wind up getting Warren. So maybe it'll work out in the end, but I still think you need a tight end. I do. So I would say tight end. If I had to guess.
What did you make of the Cowboys pick getting Tyler Booker?
Listen. I understand the need to build from the inside out.
I
understand you need it. I understand the philosophy, but at some point when you have a 31-year-old quarterback and you're on the clock to win the whole thing, okay, you've got to get him some. You got to get some weapons. Look, they're going to need the block for 7-8 seconds because nobody's going to be open to throw the ball to. Where's he going to go with the ball? Tyler Warren was one of the few blue chip players in this draft. You have a chance to get him. You imagine if Dallas took him. Now you plug him in on that offense right away. Here's a weapon. Here's an outlet for Dak. Guy could block also. And he's got, now you got something. Like, that would have immediately affected that team and that offense. And they blew it. And I love it.
Hey, may I read you something here? And I want to get your take on this. So here's President Trump. What is wrong with NFL owners? Are you stupid? Deion Sanders was a great college football player and was even greater in the NFL. He's also a very good coach. streetwise, smart. Therefore, Shador, his quarterback son, has phenomenal genes and is all set for your greatness. He should be picked immediately by a team that wants to win. Good luck, Shador, and say hello to your wonderful father. I mean,
I give it to him. He sticks up for his friends. What can I say? Because I know that he has a friendship with Dion. I've heard Dion talk about it before. So what are you going to do?
Hey, what'd you make of him falling like that?
I don't know, man. I still don't know what to make of it because I'm really not sure. Like, okay, you fall out of the top 10 or whatever, but man, I thought Pittsburgh was going to snag him. And I was a little bit surprised that they didn't. Then the Giants come back and trade up and they take Dart. So I don't know, like it really had to go bad, the interviews and stuff, for this kid to drop because I think he's talented. I think he's got talent, but for whatever reason, I don't even know how far he's going to fall. Will he fall out of the second round? Or will he go in the second round?
But let me ask you something. Jalen Hurts was a second round pick. I mean, the thing is not. I mean, this is not going to define it. So I mean, the media to me, I mean, like Tom Brady went in the sixth round. I mean, this is not the end story here. So I mean, because he doesn't go in the first round, and I'm not saying you're saying that either. But him going in another round. I mean, okay, so you go to a better situation because you go in the second round. I don't know. Maybe what this does, you're going to get defined, and maybe what you do is you shut all the naysayers up. But I don't think people talking shit on him stopped him from going into the first round. I mean, that's what the media is trying to say here. I don't think he showed any intangibles where he was – and I'm with you. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's going to get drafted here, but let me say this. Let me ask you this. Would you rather draft Sanders or would you rather draft Will Howard?
I'll take Sanders.
Okay. Well, I'm going to use the Philly 500 mentality. Will Howard wins.
Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, well, you always want to go with the winner, I guess. But in the draft, somewhat you want to project, what a guy could be. Also, right? There's a bit of a projection there. When you define a player in terms of like current players in the NFL, you got to define it by what they do on the field. I think coming out of the draft is define more projection of what they can be. So that's why I would say that.
So finally here, and I appreciate you doing this real quick here for us here. How are you feeling about the repeat now after this pick and it's still with the second and third round and there's good players in here to get. Between you and Sander, this is going to be obnoxious here. I can already
repeat's already underway, my friend. It was before the draft. All right, it was already there, but I don't know. I think the Eagles found something last year when they played the young guys and developed them. I think they have really good defensive coaches, and they should take advantage of it. And if you can move up, you've got a lot of picks over the next 2 years. You're not going to use them all. I say spend some draft capital, go up early in the draft, get a starter. Whether look, you want to get Amenwari, you don't like him. You like the kid out of Texas, Makumba. I think either of those guys could come in and compete to start right away at safety. But stick with the philosophy of building with the young guys. I much rather see that than get Justin Simmons in here, 31-year-old safety. I want to go young. And I think safety, to me, is the spot where you can get somebody right away that can play. And that's what I would like to see him do. Also, I do think this team is going to make a trade for a veteran player at some point. I expect that to happen. Now, there's been rumors about Jalen Ramsey, and we've heard, it might be interested in Jalen Ramsey. I don't understand that because Jalen Ramsey basically ran Vic Fangio out of town, was one of the guys. So I don't know how much I believe that rumor, but I do think that there's room to make a trade to get up. I think there's a trade to get a veteran player. And by the time this team comes out of this draft, I mean, we should be sitting pretty. That's all I'd say.
What, to your point, would you rather have Justin Simmons in the safety, or would you rather? And Zander said something interesting to me. What saved Darius Slay's career, in my opinion, was coming to his own defense instead of playing man in Detroit, which he wasn't very good at. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, older in his, he's 31. You put him back there in a zone. I don't know, Philly. I mean, now look, I'm not paying $20 million for that for a center fielder, or $15 million for a center fielder to do that. However, it's an easier position to play. Or do you go Simmons at $6 million and drop him? Because think about this. Look at where you are now with the Eagles here. 25 years old, Ojomo. 25 years old, Davis. 23 years old, Carter. 24 years old, Smith. Bond's older. Dean's 25. Mitchell's 22. McCollum's a young kid. Blankenship's 28. Keely Ringo's a young kid. Cooper's a young guy. Man, you got a lot of young dudes on that defense with no veteran leadership. Would you rather have the leadership at corner or safety?
Well, if I had to choose which one to get, I would rather get the cornerback. I'd rather have the veteran corner. Although I don't know if it's Ramsey, only because of the issues he had with Vic Fangio in Miami. I worry about that. But I would say that I would probably want the veteran at corner over safety. I'd rather go young safety. I also believe that this team just won a world championship. What is Justin Simmons going to teach them? I don't know. Justin Simmons doesn't appeal to me. I want a young safety back there. So I would much rather get the veteran corner if that's Ramsey or somebody else. But Ramsey was the guy that complained about how he was used by Vic Fangio. So are you not going to create the same problem in Philly if he comes?
It's still an easier fit, though, don't you think? It's still an easier fit because he's played in and Vic knows what. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I'm with you. I'd rather have the corner. I'd rather have the corner. Or do you move Cooper out there?
No, I'm not touching. I'm not touching him this year. I'm letting him stay in the same position this year. I'm a little higher on Ringo. Like I feel like if you have to go with Ringo and Adoree Jackson, I think you'll be able to manage that and you'll be okay at the end of the day. But if you could upgrade it, definitely. Now, if you want to go like let's say Amos in the second round, you want to get a corner that will start. I'm okay with that too. Like what I want out of this second round, I want a guy that can come in and play like right away. That's what I want. Somebody that's going to compete to play right away. And I think the best shot you have at that is at corner or at safety. And that's why I would do it. Now, I do think Justin Simmons is coming to Philly. Like, I think that's like 85% chance happening. I mean, from everything he sounds like he knows it's going to happen. Even if you draft a safety, maybe you bring him in for that veteran leadership. But I don't want to hang my hat on a 31-year-old safety. I don't want to go that route anymore. I want to continue to do what I did last year. Trade up, get a guy, and play him. That's what I want.
Are you ready for my last stupid prediction for the Cowboys?
Yes.
Cowboys draft Shedeur Sanders in the second round.
Oh, please. You don't know. I was praying for that. That's what I wanted all along. Like, I wanted them to take him. You know, I had Mark's camera. I had it all ready to go to his feed when he melts down, you know. But they didn't take him. I would love for them to take Shedeur. Now, I don't know if you saw Mark, but he thought they were getting Tyler Warren. He had his shot glass, and he was holding it up. And they announced, you know, and with the 12th pick of the draft, the Cowboys take Tyler, and he starts to celebrate as a Booker. And you should have seen his face. He was so pissed. You saw he was so upset. And then what happens after that? Well, with a Cowboy fan, it's always the delusion sets in. So then within 10 minutes, it goes from you can tell he's visibly disappointment to Hall of Fame pick in 10 minutes. It was ridiculous, dude. They're ridiculous. but they're stupid. I think they made a big mistake last night.
Oh, hey, listen, here's what I would have did. I would have traded down, got a guy down there at offensive line, traded back in like the Giants did, getting back in the draft, and then I would have gone and got myself Tyler Warren, and I would have had that guy at least as another weapon in the building in there. Even another wide receiver made sense.
Well, I mean, they got Ferguson, right? So you got Warren. You would have you could use two tight end sets and stuff like that. I mean, to me, that was the move right there. That fell right in their lap, a blue chip player, and they just passed up on it. And now what do they got? Okay, they got a guard. They got a rookie guard. Oh, I'm not scared of your rookie guard against my defensive line. Okay, I'm not. But who are you going to throw to? They better be able to hold the block for about 8 seconds because Dak's going to have to wait for somebody to get open.
Tyler Booker's going to be lining up against Jalen Carter.
Hey. Yeah, have fun. Have a good night.
Hey, Mark, you better pray he's Larry Allen. You're going to need it. Philly,
but the thing is,
tonight, what are you doing?
We're streaming.
Second and third?
Yeah, I'm streaming in about an hour. I'll be on live for second, third round. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully we'll trade up early. That's what I think we need to do, man. I think we need to be aggressive. Huh? Amos is a I would be okay with that pick. I would be okay with the pick. I prefer Amin-Wari or Makumba, the safeties. I would prefer safety here. But Amos is fine. I mean, I like him. I had no problem with that pick. I don't think they're going edge rusher.
My boy Steve likes your thinking too, man. So we're good there, man. My boy Steve got you covered. We will be keeping an eyeball on you tonight too. And by the way,
thank you, my man.
I'm gonna have to check out Mark, and I'm gonna have to check out his moaning last night because I could just see him going like this. Look, hey, look, Tyler Booker. Oh my God.
We got a guard again, a guard, really? And then it was like somebody called him, and it was like, I think it was Dak Prescott's uncle called him. And then he was like, next thing you know, people are coming back at me. Hey, Philly, Mark's saying this guy's like the next Hall of Famer. I was like, oh, no. There we go.
That's hilarious. Philly, we appreciate you jumping on with us, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, my man. Peace.
You got it. That is our friend. Absolutely. The legendary Philly 500 giving us his insight of what he said. I'll tell you what, I'm watching that video right now. Also, Eagles first round pick, Jihaad Campbell shows up at NovaCare, met with the media. It says he almost broke down when he got the call. I think that call is really great. Everyone was meeting him when he got out of the car. I mean, this guy, hey, let me tell you, man, when you get this is so cool a moment here. Campbell's meeting all the Eagle people. They came out, met him personally. There's Bobby King's out there. Vic Fangio's out there. Nick Sirianni's out there. And they were meeting him. I think that's great, man. Let me tell you something, guys. When you get here, let me. So I got off the airplane. I got off this private jet, and they met me on the tarmac in St. Pete. And they met me on the tarmac. I get off. I was so afraid. I was flying in my first private jet. I was so afraid. About 30 minutes. They had all kinds of stuff on the plane. I felt I shouldn't drink, so I didn't drink. And so I get off the plane. I think I had flip-flops on, and I had jeans on. I had flip-flops and jeans and a nice shirt. So there I get off the plane, and there's Hugh Culverhouse, the owner of the Buccaneers. Ray Perkins was there. Phil Kruger was there, and so was Rich McKay. And my D-line coach, which I hated anyway, which was Mike Dubose. And so we met. Then they took me for lunch. We had a chance to meet. This is after they drafted me. I had a contract right in front of me. My agent showed up, Bob Wolf and Randy Fataha. And so we went, I think we went to the Buccaneer facility. And I had a chance to meet with the media. And the first person asked me questions was Tom McEwen. Tom McEwen was like, he's a legendary sports writer back in the day. And I was friends with him because I was at Miami. He would come down, even though he's a Gator honk. I love him to death. He got the first question. And I remember we became very good friends all the way until he passed away. Him and Joey Johnston, Ira Kaufman, those guys were all there. I remember, and I was talking with those guys. Then I had a chance to call my folks. My folks heard the call. My grandpa did. I think my aunt may have. I don't remember. Yeah. And so, then I signed my contract. I wish I had a copy of that. My aunt has a copy, and I posted. She sent it to me. I wonder if I can get a copy of that from the Bucks, if they have that archived at all. Because I'd like to get a copy of mine and find out, because I know what the money was. The money was what Jerome got. I got $1.8 million over 3 years. I think it was. Jerome may have got 1.9. I think it was 1.8 over 3, if I'm not mistaken. Best day sales? Well, my daughter being born was the best day of my life. That was anything I've ever accomplished in my life felt like shit then. So when my kid was born, that really kind of superseded it. Oh, Burns's. Yeah, that's where they took. Are you from Tampa? That's right. They took me to a steakhouse called Burns's. That's exactly right. Hey, KCA, is that what you're talking, Burns? Because there's a steakhouse down there in Tampa called Burns's. And I think that's exactly where we went for lunch, Burns's Steakhouse. Yeah. If that's what you're talking, KCA, it's a great steakhouse. It's still there. And they follow me actually on Twitter. I've argued from the beginning how he relies on his coaching staff to separate similar graded players. So coaching staff, Dougie P gets some credit for Rager over JJ. Similarly graded players by Howie. Yeah, I think that's right. I think he's gotten better at it, though, because he's got – that's dope, dude. You know that place. The place is awesome. Hey, I don't know if Malio's is still around, but they took me there for dinner, too. Thank you, Matthew. Okay. Was a good listen to commute home. He loves the – hey, I know you guys don't think this, but he really loves what the Eagles are doing, Michael Irvin. I know he does. I mean, he loves what you guys are doing. So make no mistake about it. And he doesn't really, Michael's a very loyal guy. So he's not going to totally 1,000% take a shit on Jerry. But let's not, he knows that the Eagles, are getting it done right now. The Cowboys are not. Tyler Booker, I like the kid and I get it. Mons Venus, have no idea what you're talking about. Hey, real quick, KCA. Do you know what we did on my radio show when I was doing Tampa radio? So, folks, they came up with this 6-foot rule that if you go to a titty bar, you had to be 6 feet. So you know what we sold? With my face on it. This is a true story. They sold with my face on it 6-foot rulers. And we got Mons Venus to promote it. Joe Redner, who's a friend of mine, who owns it. And Joe Redner loved the idea. So I had my face like this. And it was Big Sills with a 6-foot ruler. Big Sills knows 6. He knows 6 feet. It had 620 WDAE on it. And we were passing them out everywhere. Everyone had a 6-foot ruler. Okay, yeah. So anytime you went to the titty bar there on Dale Mabry, you had these rulers with my face on it. Yeah. But Joe Redner, the owner, man. Oh, it's classic. He's like, only you, man, would be okay with this. I'm like, are you crazy? It gave me, honey, can you imagine doing this? So wait. So wait a minute. Let me tell you what my wife did. So I get home, my wife sees these rulers, and actually we were on the news. So I get home, my wife goes, only you could come up with a way to go to a strip club and call it business. And I was like, hey, I got to go tomorrow. We have a remote. Where you sitting? I go, in the champagne room. Hey, hey, Casey, hey, I have to go. We're going to be in the champagne room. And yeah, KCA, that show was, hey, will you tell Eagle fans how hard was I on the Bucks? I called Mark Dominic a librarian. Guy was 25 and 51 as GM. I used to kill them. This guy's talking to me about it. Yeah, hey, KCA, you remember that guy? I forget that defensive tackle's name from. Hey, there was a defensive tackle from UCLA. Xander, you'll love this. There was a guy from UCLA, and he got drafted. And I remember, I think I called him Jelly because he had a big fat gut. And I think they took him in the second or third round. What was that guy's name? That's really kind of you, man. Thank you, KCA. Hey, I think I was calling this guy Jelly. Yeah, Jelly just, he's on IR. I think they drafted him in the second round. And every time that guy, somebody brought his name up, I'd call him Jelly. Everyone's like, hey, Sills, what are you making a UCLA defensive tackle the Bucks drafted? I'm like, who, Jelly? I called him Jelly Donut. I forget that guy's name, man. Oh, man, that guy. I used to kill that guy. Oh, I don't think he ever played. Then he ripped his, muscle off his bone, and the Bucks used to get so pissed off at me because I'm ripping guys. And I kept telling people, and I'm like, so wait, you draft Cadillac Williams? That's it. I used to call this guy Jelly. and they would go, I go, you take Cadillac Williams. And John Gruden said this. I go, Ronnie Brown's the better player. Oh, no. Cadillac. You see those first 4 games? His shoes are in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, that guy will be broken down in about 18 months. Sure enough, he was. He was a good player. But Jelly. Yeah. Casey, I didn't know that, bro. That's really good. Let me go back and reset this here. So we gave you a little bit of last night's draft. I thought last night's draft, everybody did a nice job. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Cam Ward, I think we'll see. Do I think he turns Tennessee around? No. Do I think Travis Hunter makes an impact with the Jags? I do. Do I think Abdul Carter makes an impact with the Giants? I do. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, Thibodeau, Lawrence, Burns, and Carter, Morrow, I think the Giants have a better D-line than you. Okay? I think the Giants have a better D-line. I think you got a better overall defense. I'd rather have that. Okay? I'd rather have that. I mean, I think the Giants last year with Dexter Lawrence and with Burns and Thibodeau, you can make the argument they were better than you last year. Even though look, Jalen Carter's not better than Dexter Lawrence. He's not. He's not a better player. He will be. Okay? He will be. But you're a better unit. Dude. Oh, that would be a dream. I agree. Lawrence is just better now. Lawrence, you can make the argument. Carter's probably better than Chris Jones. Okay? Problem for the Giants is they're very average. 15 points a game. Yeah, keep your defense on the field. The Giants' issues are the offense has got too many 3-and-outs. Keeps that D on the field. Everyone gets banged up. Before you know it, you're in that Chip Kelly conveyor belt. They better be the 85. Oh, no, they're not good enough. They're not a better unit than you. Okay? That's a really great pick for the Chiefs. Okay? Bro, Dexter Lawrence is better than Jalen Carter. Plain and simple. That's Jason Kelsey. Seals, we need to draft someone to get Davis out of it. No. Dude, I mean, I don't know if I see anybody in the draft better than Jordan Davis. I don't know if I see anybody. That's a great point. Do you guys see anybody in this draft better than Jordan Davis? Because if you don't, I'm not getting rid of him. I'm not getting rid of that. That's right. And by the way, Carter is second. The all-pro tackles will be Dexter Lawrence and Jalen Carter this year. Okay? They will be. And he'll be better in about a year and a half, 2 years. Okay? No, I respond when people make sense. Hey, mommy's little baby. I only respond when it makes sense. I'd like to pick. Seals, does the cornerback from Ole Miss remind you of anyone? Teron Arnold. Teron Arnold started 17 games last year, was on the all-rookie team, finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year award. Like that. I like that kid from Ole Miss. Guy, you've gotten 4 seconds of my life I wish I got back. Repost it, and if it's anything, I'll comment on it. Okay, sweetheart? All right. Kenneth Grant was a comp to him, but I don't think so. Maybe Pegues is the comp, but not as good. We'll see. Look, I think defensive tackle's probably defensive tackle, corner, or safety. All right? That's where I would go. So let's go here. Will Campbell. You know what I really liked about that kid from LSU? Did you hear how he was talking about being a Patriot? The logo speaks for itself. I really loved that those guys, what they created. I'm really honored to be here. I like that. He really loved that he was drafted and he's a Patriot and he's going to play. And he was going to play for Mike Vrabel. Yes, I do, Steve. Oh, and Steve, you're welcome. He calls me a dickhead for free. Congratulations. Good night. Yes, these guys would be good. Yep, they would. Mason Graham, we'll see. They moved down. Got picks for the future. I like Ashton Genty to the Raiders. You know what's crazy about that pick, though? So the Raiders get rid of Josh Jacobs, right? Josh Jacobs goes to Green Bay and gained 1,700 yards last year. And now you draft this guy. Jesus. I mean, what are we doing? You just don't want to pay Josh Jacobs? You see what I'm saying? You had the guy. Guy led the NFL in rushing 2 years ago. And you let that go because you didn't want to pay him? So didn't you just recreate the whole situation? 3 years, we're going to be back in the conveyor belt? That made no – I get the Genty move, but I'm like, wait a minute. You had Josh Jacobs in the building a year ago, and you let him walk out the org. You let him walk out. He goes to Green Bay, and he gains all those yards up there. Guy's hurt a lot. Good player. Hurt a lot. Armand Meebu, safe pick. Holy cow, the Jets. The Jets did something right. Hey, let me tell you this. The Jets, I'll tell you one more time. When your most famous people in life are Joe Willie Namath and Fireman Ed, you're not really good. Okay? You got a guy who bangs on his head, and you haven't really had anybody in the building since Joe Namath. And when, like, phone booths and shit were still, like, being used at an airport. And, like, the Jets were in the Super Bowl, and Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. That's the last time the Jets were good. They actually did something right here. Okay? Armand Meebu. Got an old lineman. I bet that shook New York up. That kid, Ted McMillan, goes to the Cardinals. Or he goes to, Carolina. So wait a minute now. Ted McMillan has problems getting separation. And now you've got Bryce Young. And who did Bryce Young, Xander, throw to? Jamison Williams, Devontae Smith. Who else did he throw to? I don't think he threw to Jalen Waddle, too. So this guy's throwing all them guys at Alabama, and you got a guy who can't get separation. All right. I mean, we'll see how he works in Carolina. I guess. I'm not a fan of that kid. I don't think that guy's a first-round draft choice. Kevin Banks, Saints. I wouldn't be shocked in the second round if they got a quarterback in the second round. But they take the kid Banks from Texas, who's a good ball player. I'll tell you somebody I thought. So Colston Loveland was more of an appetite for the Bears than what Tyler Warren was. Why do you think that is? Here's a typical Bears move. Well, the guy played in the Midwest in Big Ten country, and I got a chance to watch him in the Big Ten. And who was the commissioner of the Big Ten? The president of the Bears, Frank Warren. He went to my daughter's college, GCU. So that guy Warren was the commissioner of the Big Ten. He drafts, and they draft a Big Ten player instead of, well, Warren's a Big Ten player, but, I mean, the proximity's closer. Michigan, Chicago. So you just took it because he's a Michigan guy? Penn State's a new guy on the block in the Big Ten? I think the kid Warren's better. Looks like a popularity pick to me. So if you need a tight end, I get it. So you took the guy that you think is a better player. I don't know. I thought the other guy was better. No, I know Warren's Big Ten. I know Penn State's Big Ten. But it's Michigan. It's closer. Ann Arbor is closer than Happy Valley. I don't know. It just looked like a popularity pick to me. I don't know. Not that he's a bad ball player. I'll tell you what I really like with the Buccaneers. I'll get down to the Bucs in a second here. So now you got Michael Williams on one end in San Francisco, the Georgia kid, and you got Bosa on the other side. That looks better. That's a pretty good thinking process. Tyler Booker, Alabama, Cowboys. The Dolphins get Kenneth Grant, the kid from Michigan. That makes sense. Warren goes to, I think Indy got a great player here. But who's the quarterback? Dines Jones. So am I right when I say this? That is this the second Ole Miss guy? Ole Miss quarterback that they've drafted? They drafted an Ole Miss guy before, right? I ask you if you knew or played against Michael Weingart, who played for Illinois linebacker, drafted in the Miami Dolphins in the 7th round, or played against Michael Weingart. I'll look that up for you, brother, who played for Illinois, LB drafted Miami Dolphins in the 7th round. I'll look that up. That name sounds familiar. I'll get back with you on that, okay? Thanks for that, dude. I appreciate that. So let's move down. Jalen Walker, man, you gave up a lot to get that kid. I mean, boy, Falcons' last 2 drafts, I don't get it. Walter Nolan goes to Arizona, Ole Miss kid. 3 defense. Get this. There were more defensive tackles drafted in the top 16 picks than wide receivers and quarterbacks. When's that ever happened? Right? When's that ever happened? That you had more defensive tackles drafted than wide receivers and quarterbacks. Shit. Combined, just about. Shamar Stewart, Bengals. The Bengals tried lying to you and telling you that had nothing to do with Trey Hendrickson. See, Howie wasn't lying last night to you when he was saying, this has nothing to do with N'Kobe. I believe that because of what he brings to the table. I don't know what Stewart brings. He surely brings one thing. There's no production out of the kid. Gray Zabel, a lot of people like this North Dakota State. Here's my problem with the North Dakota State guys. Man, if you are a Division I football player and you're playing at North Dakota State and you're mauling people and you got a game tape on that, I don't really think that game tape is of value to me. You're playing against dudes that will be in beer leagues next year, not the NFL. Now, he did have a good Senior Bowl. So that Senior Bowl is why he got drafted. But, man, 1 week of football versus 3 years of starting, and you look at the game tape. Last night they're playing clips of him versus Helen Keller University. And I'm going like, well, I don't know. I mean, they got him pancaking a guy from Helen Keller University. And I'm going like, oh, wow, that's quite a game tape. I mean, is there anybody like from Penn State he's killing or anybody from Michigan? This guy's beating Eagle Creek University up. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, North Dakota State. I think everybody in Philly's got a bad taste with that anyway. I think this Bucks pick here is interesting. So who's out? Is that Mike Evans' replacement? The kid from Ohio State? Ibuka's a good ball player. Abuka's a good player, man. Jihadi Barron, Texas, cornerback. I like this pick for the Broncos. Now you got him on the other side of Patrick Surtain. That's pretty damn impressive. Derek Garman absolutely hosed everybody. Oh, hey. They thought because Mike Tomlin was black, they were going to take Shador. Mike Tomlin did the football move instead of the publicity move. Mike Tomlin's a football coach, plain and simple. And he solidifies that every day of his life. This guy's got nothing to do with social media. He don't give a shit. I think it is a great pick. He don't care about any of that. He's a football coach. I admire Mike. I do. I admire him for bucking the system, not bending to social media, not bending to social. They all thought he was going to draft a black quarterback because he's black. Mike's like, I'm drafting a football player that helps my team right now. He's such a great coach. I mean, he's such a great football coach. Okay. Mike Tomlin was way overrated. It would be a great DC, but as a head coach, his offense sucks. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, and every year he's coached. He's taken his football team to the Super Bowl and won it. Yes, they've struggled in the postseason. And yes, as an organization, they did not have an exit plan from Roethlisberger. All true. All true. But let's not get carried away. They do have 4 more rings than you. And there's only been 3 head coaches since 1969 in Pittsburgh. So let's not get too carried away. Okay? I mean, when you get the head coaching job in Pittsburgh, it's like being the Pope. Or it's like being a Supreme Court guy. You're there until you die. Yeah, you're right. That's right. When I think of Mike Tomlin, I think of Nick Sirianni. Somebody who has to ask permission to take a leak. Hey, by the way, it's April 25th. Where's that $25 million a year deal? Hey, M. Reyes, where's the greatest coach in the history of the franchise? Hey, I really like it, too, when Jihaad Campbell was talking last night. It went Howie, then it went the owner, and there was Nick cleaning up. Oh, hi. Yeah, this is your coach. Sorry, you still there? Yeah, this is Nick Sirianni. Yeah, are you still there? Oh, I think he hung up. Here, guys, here's your phone back. He don't even own the phone. He didn't even own the phone. Yeah, we got you. We got you. I was like, okay. We got you. Oh, here's the owner. Oh, yeah. You see the owner didn't even, you see the kid Campbell didn't even know who he was talking to. Hey, we tried getting you for the last hour. Who's this? It's Jeffrey Lurie. Oh, yeah. How you doing, Mr. Lurie? Yeah. Hey, this is Nick Sirianni. Who? Hey, did you hear what he said? Who? Oh, my God. Did you hear Jihaad Campbell? Who? Hey, this is Nick Sirianni. Hey, coach. Who? Oh, my God. Hey, this is Howie Roseman. Hey, man, yeah, we got you. Got you, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, this is the owner. Oh, hey, yeah, Mr. Lurie. Hi, how you doing? Yeah. This is the head coach of the team, Nick Sirianni, Eagles. Who? Oh, my God. Who? Yeah. Oh, my God. Hilarious. He didn't even know who he was. Who? Oh, my God. This is the best you have? No, I'm just repeating what I heard. Who's Nick Sirianni? Oh, yeah, the head guy. Okay. Yeah, no, wait. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God. The greatness of Jackson Dart. He lands with the Giants. There's Malachi with the Ravens. Of course, the Ravens just draft so great. The Connerly guy. All right. Campbell and then Simmons. I think Josh Simmons is a good football player. Chiefs have to, and they have to improve that old line for sure, man. Who? The call's on video. I know. Hey, we got you. We got you. Hey, this is the owner. Okay, yeah. Hi, this is Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Eagles. Who? Who? Oh, my God. Pretty awesome, man. Cornerback safety tonight. DT, edge. That's what you're looking at tonight. That's what you're looking at. Great stuff. Thank you to Michael Irvin. Also, Xander was awesome. And Philly 500 for dropping on and giving us his takeaway on the first day of the NFL draft. 60 million plus people watched that bad puppy. Wow. Second and third rounds tonight. Then the last end of the draft is on Saturday. We appreciate all of you. Lot to talk about on Monday. I know Angelo Cataldi will be with us on Monday as well, and so will Marcus Hayes. We appreciate everybody. Have yourself a spectacular weekend. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Xander. 2 to 6. And we shall see you Monday on the flip side.